Everybody's gonna pay. Everybody's Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and you're listening to the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
And out the night out. You're tuning to Wrestle Talk. 657-383-1521. We'll be discussing WWE, NXT, Lucha Underground, ROH, fantasy wrestling, and we have some of the best damn interviews for professional and independent wrestling that you've ever heard.
And I'm Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts. Keep your arms in the vehicle at all times. Wrestle Talk begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enjoy the ride. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Oh my goodness, it is 8 o'clock. It is Wednesday night. That means one thing and one thing only. It is time for the Wrestle Talk Podcast with Joe and Renee. And I must say, my throat is still not 100% after being in a wrestling show last weekend. As a referee, had to yell a lot. So if my voice doesn't sound the best, I definitely apologize. But I will do my absolute best, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, do we have a great show for you tonight? We got the High Spot segment. We got the Shoot and Shout segment. We got the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. We got the Fantasy Wrestling segment. We got the Snippets of Truth. And if that's not enough, like, we've got the KCXW Metropolitin champion, the Realist.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Jonesy, you might want to get with intern Timmy, man.
The man, the myth, the legend. The guy that needs no introduction. The night out.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Loyal members of the Wrestle Talk familia. It's your boy, the Night Owl, checking in from the heartland of the United States, Kansas City, along with my partner in crime, the one, the only, repping the Mountaineer State, Nightmare Jones. We're happy to have you, Jonesy boy. 249, episode 249 of the Wrestle Talk Podcast tonight, man. I am so excited because I know we got some very special stuff planned for next week's show. We can't tell anybody just yet. If you tune in towards the end, we might be able to break a little bit of news for you. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, Jonesy, because we do have a kick-ass show lined up for today, right?
Yes, absolutely. We 100% do. Like I said, we got the High Spot segment, the Shoot and Shout segment. We got a lot to talk about. Dean Ambrose winning the IWGP television champion. I think it was television champion. Maybe it was another championship. The Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge and Fantasy Wrestling segment. The Snippets of Truth. And then we've got the Realist, Kevin Aldridge coming on. And then Hollis Giroux after that. Oh, my goodness. What a show we have for you tonight.
Well, you know what, Jonesy? I'm pretty excited about tonight's show. And there's only one thing would make it better is if we can get our family, the members of the Wrestle Talk fam, to hit us up. The first 20 to 25 minutes are dedicated to you, the callers, the listeners, the fans, the fam. So go ahead and dial that number, guys, as I type it right here on the YouTube live feed. Okay? That is 657-383-1521. Again, that's 657-383-1521. And if you happen to be listening to us on the replay, it's all good. We appreciate it. Please go ahead and leave us a rating, share the podcast. You are still very much appreciated. But if you get a chance, check us out live, because that way you could actually be part of the show and not just listen to it. One more time for my folks, that's 383-1521. That said, Jonesy, we got a lot to get into today. So we're going to ask everybody, like we do every single week, to respectfully remove their caps, place their hands over their hearts as we pay homage to the greatest country on God's green earth. And that's America, damn it.
Oh, say, can you see? And the rocket, red flag. Uh-oh. I'll make up for it now. For the land of the free.
Oh my goodness. And I must say, this beer that I'm drinking tonight is absolutely amazing. It is Smirnoff Ice. I know, don't make fun of me. It's Smirnoff Ice. It's red ice and berry. And let me tell you something. It brings me back to my childhood. You know, when you are outside and it's like 90 some degrees and you hear that sound of the ice cream truck going down the road, and you go in there and you beg your mom for your mom or dad for some money for a popsicle, and you go out there and you get the best popsicle ever. I call it a rocket pop. Some people call it bomb pop. You know, it had the red, the white, and the blue. Where Smirnoff Ice has literally turned that into a alcoholic drink, and it is absolutely amazing.
It is absolutely amazing. I'm wondering what the Wrestle Talk family thinks about you drinking Smirnoff Ice during the Wrestle Talk podcast. Let's hear from the Wrestle Talk fam. And according to the YouTube live feed, you have officially lost your man card, Jonesy. But you know what? It's okay, because we're going to go ahead and earn it back, because we got two very manly men that are going to be joining us on today's show again. The Realist, Calvin Aldridge. That's your KCXW Metropolitan champion. And, of course, a man that's making waves all throughout the Midwest, including down in CCW. And, of course, is the new Missouri Wrestling Revival Missouri champion, the one, the only other man crazy enough to wear sunglasses inside, Hollis Giroux. I'm ready, bro. It's going to be a killer show. With that said, we're going to start wanting you guys to light up those phone lines. Let's talk wrestling. Let's talk about Dean. Let's talk about Super Showdown. Let's talk about Raw, SmackDown, AEW, whatever you guys want to discuss. This is the time to do it. Intern Timmy, you know what to do. Go ahead and cue up tonight's edition of the High Spot segment.
Earth rings, we have now taken over your radio.
Hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em high. You hit 'em low, hit 'em low.
Just the whole, the brain got no game. I'm breaking your out the brain, coming through like a train. Something that takes over the whole world is my goal. With my unstoppable food, taking over control. You can't get none of that.
Oh my goodness.
Let's do it.
So much to talk about, but the one thing I wanted to talk about, and this is pretty cool, Viceland, they were doing the whole dark side of the ring, talking about classic moments in professional wrestling. Well, now they have another series called The Wrestlers, where they one of the the guys as a documentator, he goes to different wrestling shows around the world and talks to different independent wrestling fans. Like last week, he was talking to MVP, and our good buddy Cahagas was actually on that episode. And I'd just like to say, for the record, I'm still not afraid of Cahagas.
Well, Jonesy, can you repeat that for the people in the back just one more time?
What? That I'm not afraid of Cahagas?
Why do you keep saying that? I keep trying to tell you it's not a good idea. And you know what, Jonesy? Only one thing. What?
I wasn't afraid of him the first time he came on. If he comes on again, I'd be more than happy to talk to him again. Stupid, 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 stupid.
Listen, all I want is to get through episode 250 with your head still a part of the rest of your body. If Gahagan shows up, bro, you're going to wet your pants, and you know it. We all know it. But anyway, very, very awesome to hear that a network that is building some upward momentum is starting to take interest in pro wrestling. And I have to say that the Andre the Giant special on HBO was a big step in the right direction. The 30 for 30s that we saw on ESPN with Ric Flair also helped move things in the right direction. And the trend continues, ladies and gentlemen. Pro wrestling is made or say. And I will go ahead and add just one more cherry to that argument. If I'm not mistaken, this past Monday night, WWE was where? They were in Austin, Texas. And one of the biggest movie stars in the world was there front row. And if you guys aren't sure who I'm talking about, spoiler alert, I'm talking about the one and only, all right, Matthew McConaughey. So the big stars are coming out for pro wrestling. And I'm telling you, Jonesy, we are just now starting to see the tip of the iceberg. I will make the assessment that within 5 years, pro wrestling will, on a consistent basis, have more viewership than the fourth most popular sport in America, which is hockey. Now, I know there's a lot of Blues fans that listen to this here show, and some of them might even say blasphemy. But I'm telling you right now, Jonesy, give them 5 years with everything that's going on and the momentum that is being built, and I can almost guarantee you that pro wrestling is going to be one of the most watched professional live action sports that runs on a weekly basis, because MMA does not do weekly shows. Wrestling has the opportunity to creep into that conversation. I mean, they already have a more outstanding social media presence than any professional sport today. And I'm talking about the WWE specifically. I contend that that's how things are going to shake out. But listen, if there's somebody out there that disagrees with the old Night Owl, you know what to do. 657-383-1521, or drop a comment and I'll be more than happy to respond. Jonesy, I know there's some pretty outrageous claims. I want to know what you think about it, or did you have something else you wanted to discuss?
I would definitely have to agree with you. Pro wrestling seems to be continuing to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it would not surprise me if it did not surpass some of the other sports that we have, and that is a awesome thing. But there is something else I wanted to talk about, and it's kind of a big subject.
Okay.
You know, Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. Jon Moxley, he goes to New Japan Pro Wrestling, his first match in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he defeated Juice Robinson to become the IWGP United States champion. Now, my question is, do you think that they're doing too much with Jon Moxley way too fast? Or do you think that this is the right path to go with Jon Moxley? Personally, I think that well, it's cool now. Eventually, we're going to feel like he's getting shoved down our throat. Kind of like what, you know, like some would say Roman Reigns and other wrestlers. So what are your thoughts, Renee?
I will say this, and I don't want to seem like the Debbie Downer because that's really not my style for those of you guys that listen to the show on a regular basis. But I'm going to be honest. I'm happy for Jon Moxley and the wave of momentum that he's riding right now. It makes me happy to see that there are greener pastures outside of the WWE. And there's no question the man is striking while the iron is hot. Okay? But, and this is a big old but, like JoJo or Naomi. No, this is big, okay? I believe that the nostalgia will wear off before too long, and the pro wrestling community will soon grow tired and eager to see who's next. Because Luger going to WCW was a big deal for a couple of weeks until somebody else came over. And then somebody else came over. And then somebody else came over. And I just don't know if Jon Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose, has enough to offer as an entertainer, both in and outside the ring, to really keep that momentum going. I will give you an example. Sean, a.k.a. the Perfect 10, a.k.a. Ty Dillinger, came off his run with WWE, got a lot of notoriety, a lot of excitement about him. Same with Austin Aries, and the list goes on and on and on. But eventually, you kind of just forget about them because there's nothing truly extraordinary about what they do. Now, I couldn't do what he does. I'm not making any sort of wild statements or trying to proclaim that I feel like he could do, or that I could do what he could do. But what I'm saying is he is not Cody Rhodes. He is not going to be able to take what he built in WWE, which was something pretty awesome. I thought Cody Rhodes' career was pretty awesome, and make that look like a drop in the bucket. That's what Cody has done. I just don't know if Jon Moxley has that kind of moxie and cachet with the fans long term. But those are just my thoughts, Jonesy. I know you've got your own, and I want to hear them.
Yeah, I think that Jon Moxley is definitely riding the wave right now, and that's awesome. But I also feel that eventually, like you said, we're going to grow tired of him, and we're going to want the next best thing. The next thing. So, so I am happy for Jon Moxley, and I hope that he rides this wave as long as he possibly can. I think that it's freaking awesome. Something this weekend, past Saturday, on Friday night, I was refereeing for EPPW, that's Eastern Panhandle Professional Wrestling, and like always, I get into the ring as referee. I'm doing my job. The fans like to boo me. They say, Joe sucks, Joe sucks, Joe sucks. But you know what? When my matches were over and I was in the back and they had another referee out there, who were they chanting to come out to referee the match? They wanted Joe back. See, you all say that I suck, but then when somebody gets in there and it's not me, then you all of a sudden want me back.
Well, that's wrestling fans, though. I mean, Joe, that's wrestling fans, bro. You know how people are. They love you until they have they love to see you. They love to see you ascend until they have a chance to kick you on the backside and see you descend. Don't worry about it, bro. Let your work speak for itself. And speaking of you at wrestling shows recently, you ran into an old friend of the Wrestle Talk podcast, Uncle Bob, a.k.a. Bob Evans, one of the most respected professional wrestling trainers and talent scouts in the business, man. You got to tell us that story, Jonesy. And for some of those wonderful people on hold, we're going to get to you. Bear with us. But I want to make sure Jonesy gets an opportunity to tell this story, because the picture I saw go up on the Wrestle Talk podcast fan page on Facebook, a picture definitely is worth 1,000 words. Why don't you tell us about that a little bit, Jonesy?
So, Buddha Bob came in. He did one of his seminars, talks with Bob, and he's telling us about how to be sick is you got to get out and go to wrestling shows. You got to go to wrestling shows on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays every single weekend. That's how you're gonna make it. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's what he used to do. He would wrestle every single Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And So it was definitely a great opportunity, and I loved every single moment of it. And then I got to be his referee in his tag team match, and it was a 6-man tag, and one of the guys comes in, and Brutal Bob picks him up, body slams him. Another guy comes in, Brutal Bob picks him up, body slams him. Another guy comes in, Brutal Bob picks him up, body slams him. Next thing I know, Brutal Bob comes around, grabs me and picks me up, and starts to try to body slam me. And thank God for his tag team partners that was telling him, no. So he had to put me back down. So your co-host almost got a body slam by Brutal Bob Evans, but I'm sure that the Wrestle Talk podcast fans would love that, wouldn't they?
Oh my gosh, bro! Immediately after I saw that picture, I was like, "Where is the video of you getting slammed by Bob Evans?" I had to see it, but unfortunately, it sounds like he took pity on you. Dang it!
That's what everybody else said. Why do you want to see me get body slammed?
All right. Well, you know what? Maybe next time my dreams will come true, and Bob Evans will body slam you through the ring. That would be freaking awesome. But you know what, Jonesy? I did have something that I wanted to throw out there to the Wrestle Talk family that are both watching us through the YouTube live stream and listening to us at WrestleTalkPodcast.com. And it's concerning the show this Friday. And I know, politics aren't very it's not something that's going to unite people. But I feel like to a certain extent, especially when it concerns professional wrestling, it is our obligation here on the Wrestle Talk podcast to discuss it. And so we're going to go ahead and open it up here for the next 10 minutes or so as we eagerly anticipate. I believe he's in the green room, doing his best to be prepared and come in hot. Here in just a few minutes, the Realist Calvin Aldridge is going to be joining us, guys. So hang tight. Make sure you guys go over and follow him on social media. He's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just look for the Realist Calvin Aldridge on Facebook, and that'll lead you to everything else. But anywho, Jonesy, what I wanted to discuss was something simple yet extremely complicated. And I'm just going to capture it all by asking this question. Are you or are you not watching the Saudi Arabia show this Friday? And if you are or are not, why is that? Again, are you watching the Saudi Arabia show this Friday? And if you are, tell us why. And if you're not, tell us why. Jonesy, I see the phone lines starting to light up, and we will try to get to some of the callers. And YouTube seems to be popping off as well here, which is great. But I want to know first and foremost what you think and what your thoughts are on it, because there's a lot of mixed emotion out there, man. A lot of people feel like, hey, this is a step in the right direction. This allows the Saudi Arabian people to see that there's a world outside of, this inclusive environment that they live in, where there are a lot of rules and restrictions, things that we take for granted here in the good old USA. And then there are other people that are like, no way, they did this, they did that. The fact that they're even going over there for the second or third time is an embarrassment. It's disrespectful. It's sacrilegious or whatever. And I've heard it all, Jonesy. But I want to hear what the members of the Wrestle Talk family think about it. So why don't you go ahead and kick us off, man, and then we'll go ahead and jump to some of the callers if we have a little bit of time left.
That is definitely a great topic that you bring up. And, for me on Friday, I will be watching the pay-per-view from Saudi Arabia because, I am a WWE fan. I like watching professional wrestling, and this is, a professional wrestling show. And, so I'm going to support the WWE. And, I get that a lot of people don't want the WWE to go over there, but you got to think of it this way. You got to think of WWE as a company and how much money that they're getting from going over to Saudi Arabia. That's why they have Brock, they have Goldberg against The Undertaker, because it's what they wanted. And they're willing to pay a great deal of money to make that happen. So, it's just, yeah, it has to do a lot with money, but I think that it's going to be a okay pay-per-view. I'm not looking forward to seeing Brock Lesnar as the Universal Champion again, or maybe he's not going to cash in on Seth Rollins. Maybe he's going to cash in on Kofi Kingston. That would make things a lot different.
It absolutely would, and I do want to talk about Kofi Kingston here in a second. But let me ask you this question. So Brock Lesnar's been showing up every week for the last couple of weeks. Is it starting at all to change your mind of how you perceive Brock Lesnar, Jonesy? Because I know you're one of those guys that absolutely hates the way Brock Lesnar's been used over the last couple of years. Is it starting to sway you at all in a different direction?
No, because of the fact that Brock Lesnar still has not wrestled a match on Monday Night Raw. He comes in and does promos. He doesn't.
Well, technically, Paul Heyman does the promos, but I get what you're saying.
But exactly, so it's like, it's if Brock Lesnar was there every Monday night, and if he was actually wrestling, then it would sway me. But as of now, he's doing exactly what he always did, and that's just show up, for promos, and then he leaves. So it's just so. As of now, no. But if he actually starts wrestling, then yes.
Okay, so your biggest hang up is the fact that Brock Lesnar is now showing up, but he's not wrestling. Before, your big hang up was the fact that he didn't show up. So my question is, Jonesy, when he starts wrestling, what are you going to want next? You want him to wrestle on 205 Live? I mean, come on.
No, if he starts wrestling, I will be my opinion of him will absolutely change. But as of right now, Brock Lesnar is a guy that only wrestles on pay-per-views. And I don't see the idea of giving him a championship again when he only wrestles on pay-per-view. That's like having a independent wrestling promotion and having a champion, but only having that champion wrestle on the really big show,
Yeah, I mean, okay, and here's the thing, and I know we've discussed this ad nauseum, so I don't necessarily want to go through it again. I'm just saying is they want Brock to be around more, but they also want him to be an attraction. So you kind of have to pick your poison there a little bit, but I get where you're coming from. Now, back to the Saudi Arabia thing, one of our YouTube followers here makes a very good point. Shout out to our boy Jeff, saying Saudi Arabia arms terrorists using weapons they bought from the United States. So I have it on pretty good authority that that's accurate, especially because of the source here. But here's my question. Do we no longer have the ability to separate sport from real life? Has social media given us so much access that we can't just look at a guy and be like, wow, he is awesome at football? I'll personalize this a little bit. I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I have been for over 10 years since I moved here from South Florida. There was a guy by the name of Larry Johnson who did a lot of shady things while he was in Kansas City. And personally, I didn't like the guy because of some of the accusations that were levied his way. I don't know how many of them ended up being accurate. I don't know how many of them just ended up being accusations, okay? But what I can tell you is he was involved in so many that on a personal level, I didn't necessarily like Larry Johnson. But as long as he was suited up on Sunday, I was going to cheer not for the man and the name on the back of the jersey, but the colors and the number on the front. Meaning I can continue to support the promotion even if I don't necessarily agree with one particular superstar and their actions outside of the squared circle. Bringing it to today, Tyreek Hill, the cheetah himself, the fastest man in the NFL, bar none. Yes, even faster than Deshaun Jackson. All I'm saying is if he suits up week 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs, I am going to cheer for Tyreek Hill. So let's transfer that now back into wrestling, and we're only just a few moments away from bringing on the Realist, the KCXW Metropolitin champion, Calvin Aldridge. You see, if you transfer this to professional wrestling, I believe that you can separate your political beliefs and just enjoy the show. Because there will be many people in the stadium that have never, ever, ever seen a live event like what WWE is going to be having this Friday. They keep saying it is a WrestleMania equivalent. So just for the people inside the stadium that maybe it's their first time ever being a part of an event like this, just for them, I think, and I say this, as bad as things are over there, no matter what you want to say, it is still a step in the right direction. And things are not perfect. Things aren't perfect here in the U.S. Does that mean we don't want to host FIFA? Does that mean we don't want others to invest in our country because there's racism and segregation and poverty? Flint don't got clean water, people. All I'm saying is you have to be willing to overlook some of these things. Just like you overlook the fact that pro wrestling isn't 100% real because you love it and it's something that entertains you. Just like the American government is responsible for a lot of bad. But when a door like this opens, you have to be willing to walk through it not knowing what's on the other side, because that's how you mend fences, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you like it or not, the Middle Eastern population in America is growing. It's something you're going to have to get used to. So why not go over there and make a good impression on the Saudi people? Come to America. This is a great place. We have great entertainers, wonderful people. Don't be afraid. And if you're not willing to do that, that's your prerogative. Take the weekend off. Go back and watch NXT. It was worth it. It was worth it. That Matt Riddle match too. Woo, boy, is crazy. And Velveteen, I mean, come on. But if you're willing to put your personal feelings to the side, give it a shot, because the people in that stadium, some of them may be getting an opportunity that they'll never, ever get again. And those are the thoughts of the night, Al. Jonesy, you want to close this segment out with any thoughts before we move on to our first featured guest of the evening?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely. I totally agree with what you were saying, and it's going to be a great show, I think, and I'm interested to see exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of fun, so hopefully it's going to be a good pay-per-view, I think.
Hopefully it is, Nightmare Jones. But one thing that we don't have to worry about being good or not being good is when we have the opportunity to interview one of the hottest young superstars in independent pro wrestling today. You want to talk about, the McDonald's All-American game? Some of y'all don't even know what that is, but it's okay. You can get ahead of the curve if you drop down a level and go to your local independent wrestling promotion. And that's exactly what I've been doing for years, Jonesy, which is what led to me becoming a part of the Wrestle Talk podcast. Part of what makes me the most excited is to see some of these young up-and-coming guys and girls go from their first opportunity in the ring to their fifth opportunity in the ring to when they finally get an opportunity to compete for a championship that they have worked so hard for. So as I say that, I want to have everybody in the Wrestle Talk podcast family join me and join us in welcoming to the show for the very first time, ladies and gentlemen, your current reigning, defending KCXW Metropolitin champion, the Realist, Calvin Aldridge. Enter Timmy. Hit the music, baby.
Hey Dan, it's Mom. I don't know if you landed yet. You may have no service. Anyway, I miss you. I just wanted to ask.
I'm gonna let that ride a little bit.
Can't go to my house cause I wanna be a household name. Only relax when I'm back on the plane. So this is like a new mom. Daddy like a Tyler, I don't see him anyway. Household name. Baby, who am I to complain? Don't know who I am, but I still find a way. Little bit of fame, they can make me go insane, but I still want the host to bang, bang. I don't believe in love and bidding, never go through pain. The color is only pretty if it really leaves a stain. I measure how much you like me, how pelly pull my pain. So if I can't breathe, I'm doing the right thing. Dang, give it all to you until I'm drained. I don't know what else.
The Realist is in the house, baby! What up, Cal? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Your Metropolitan champion, the Realist, Calvin Aldridge. Welcome, 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 welcome. Sir, thank you for being here.
It's good to be here.
Man, you know what? I would be remiss if I didn't start off right away by asking you about this. What in the world? I expected you to walk in here holding the KCXW Metropolitan Championship over your left shoulder, but instead you're in a sling. Come on, Klay Thompson. Are we going to get you on the court soon or not? Man, please tell us what is going on with your health.
So last night I was out practicing and doing a move I do all the time. I hit a Hurricane Rana. And on nobody else's fault but my own, I planted on my forearm instead of following through, and my shoulder popped out, dislocated, and didn't go back in.
Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. How are you though, man? Are you still in pain? What's the deal? What's the prognosis?
I'm doing a lot better now. They popped back in, easy peasy. Didn't even feel it. They said I need to go get checked up again to get all the rehab stuff done. So unfortunately, I probably will not be able to wrestle this weekend at KCXW.
Oh man. And now I have to ask, were you slated to defend the championship this Saturday, or is that something that like maybe wasn't necessarily in the plans, so it doesn't really cause you any harm, no foul? Or do you know by any chance?
I mean, I planned on defending my championship this weekend, but unfortunately I will be unable to. But we will see how this plays out this weekend, if they take it off me, if they allow me to keep it, because from what I was told, I won't be out too long. I just won't be able to compete at this show.
Okay, got you. All right, and that's good to hear. And Jonesy, I know you're on the other line there, and I'm going to throw to you here in just a second with a couple of questions for the Realist. But you know what? We're talking about the present. Let's go back in time just a little bit. You did just about a month ago capture the Metropolitan Championship, becoming the second ever champion. Can you tell us a little bit about the belt, your journey to it, and how it's different from the KCXW Heavyweight Championship?
Yeah, I can. About the title, as you see, I had a lot going on, so it completely slipped my mind to bring it with me because I completely missed.
You're still the champ.
Yeah,
it doesn't change anything.
But so the journey to the title. Back in January, I faced Leo D. We had a really good match. He came up winning that match. It was to advance in a tournament to become #1 contender for the KCXW Heavyweight Championship.
Okay.
So on May 11th, me and him had that rematch, and this time it was for the Metro Championship. And I'd say we put on the best match to KCXW's had to date. That, in my opinion, I feel like that's what we did, and we set the bar pretty high.
Agreed.
And I plan on defending this title successfully as long as possible, and hopefully more injuries don't come during that reign.
Okay, and you know what? I guess for the second time today, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this. How hard of a pill was it for you to swallow when you got this opportunity that you've probably been pursuing for over a year, and against somebody you actually respect, somebody that is your physical equal in most cases, in Leo D, but only for it to be kind of soiled to a certain extent by the interference of Richard Goldman and JC Thunder? I know you maybe don't feel like you earned it the way that you wanted to. But I will say, as a spectator, I saw your journey there, and there's no doubt in my mind that you earned that. So I want you to know, just for me personally, I don't think you should look at your championship capture with any sort of asterisk, because you were well on your way to winning that match. With all due respect to Leo D, who's a champion in his own right. How do you feel about that interference? And have you gotten to a point where maybe you're a bit sick of President Smiley shenanigans yourself?
Well, I mean, if I could go back through and have that taken away, I'd do it. I'd hand Leo back the title, and we go back at it again to get a fair and square winner. But I mean, that's the second time that President Smiley's actions have gotten involved with my title matches. All back in, what was that, March maybe, when I went against Ace Hawkins for his NWR championship at the time. President Smiley had Hollis Giroux kicked out, who's the guest later on tonight.
Yeah, he will be here later tonight. Hopefully he puts those sunglasses and he steps his game up, because I brought in my white Cartiers today, so I'm ready.
But yeah, President Smiley had him removed from the building, which involved him getting a ticket and sitting front row. And we accidentally spilled a drink on him, so he comes back and gets involved in our match, another championship that I could have had that President Smiley somewhat was involved with. So it's getting kind of old, you know. Like,
yeah,
I'd like my fair chance at the championship, because I feel like I've worked for it and I've earned that chance to prove myself in the ring.
Well, and you know what? Like I said, there's no doubt about that. So before I throw it over to Joe, I guess I have to ask this question as well. So you won't be defending most likely this upcoming show, but obviously the powers that be make the final decision. Yeah. If you do end up being granted the opportunity to continue as champion past this Saturday at Extreme Heat, who do you see on the KCXW roster, or maybe even somebody from the outside? Because, you know, KCX does a great job of bringing out some pretty awesome superstars, Ace Hawkins, Blair Onyx, the list goes on and on. Who do you see? I know there's, you know, Juno's out there, and he's kind of making his name right now. You've got Savage. I mean, Marksman, I know he's a little tied up with some of the tag team stuff presently. Of course, you've got Shannon Reed as the heavyweight champion. Yeah. But is there anybody on that list, on that line, that you're like, if I get the opportunity, I want to face that person?
Yeah, right off the bat, there are 5 guys that pop into my head.
I can tell you've been thinking about this a little bit.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, good.
The first person that pops into mind is, like you said, Juno Granger. I've been training with Juno since I got there. He's been one of those guys who's kind of taken me under his wing and showed me a lot. Same with Hollis Giroux. We've had our differences in KCXW, like you said.
Me and him have had our differences as well, so I know where you're going through.
I'd like to get that match with him. My former tag partner, James Moore. I feel like.
Oh, yes. You guys have a history together as well.
Yeah, we have some unfinished business at KCXW that we never got resolved from 2 years ago. I'm watching you, James.
And he's watching you.
I'm sure he is. And then 2 outside guys. One of these guys actually wrestled earlier in the year, Chandler Hopkins.
Oh, wow. The young gunner. Yes, I'm a big fan. He's based out of Oklahoma. Used to be with Jerry Bostic's promotion, right? World Class. Yeah. And he was recently over, and where I saw you there, and you did a killer job, by the way, at the XWE show over at the hotel. What was that show? Awakening.
Yeah.
Fantastic show. Shout out to Billy Simmons and all the wonderful people out there with the KWA. But yeah, dude, I mean, come on. The young gun, that dude is amazing, bro. I'd love to see a match between you guys.
Yeah, I'd love to get that rematch. And then the other person is XWE's heavyweight champion, Magnificent Malco. Another guy that I met down at World Class that I'd like to get in the ring with.
He doesn't creep you out, bro? You want to really, like, that dude's weird. I mean, listen, I'm not a scaredy type of guy, but clowns, you know, I don't know.
I mean, he may be magnificent, but I'm the realist.
There you go, Jonesy. Well, you're hearing it here first, man. Our first featured hour guest on episode 249 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. My partner, believe it or not, a Realist, is actually based out of West Virginia. We cover a lot of ground here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. We have a strong listenership here in the Midwest, but we're also killing it over on the East Coast. So, Jonesy, why don't you jump in here with Calvin Aldridge, the champ, baby, the Metropolitin, champ, and maybe find out why he's so rough and tough with his Afro puffs.
I like that.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. So I just want to get in to this. I've been on Twitter, and there's a gentleman by the name of Juno Granger who you had talked about, and he put up a tweet on May 30th, and this is what it said. Wrestling is about how much you're willing to bleed, not actually blood, but your soul and your own well-being. That's why I look up to guys like the Realist. They're going to make it for this reason, among other reasons. How does that make you feel to know that somebody like Juno Granger actually looks up to you?
Like I said, Juno's one of those guys that I've been training with, and he kind of took me under his wing, helped me a lot, and I feel like I've helped him in that aspect as well. But it means a lot to me that he said those things, because I really look up to him and look at him as a guy who doesn't get the respect that he deserves in this business, because Juno goes out of his way to help a lot of people and does a lot of good things. And actually, like, he's been helping a lot of the younger guys at the school, XWC, and he's just one of those guys that you want to be around in the wrestling business, even if his tactics every now and then aren't the realest.
They're not. Him and that damn Granger force, man, they're always up to shenanigans. Jonesy, what else you got?
Just by doing up my background information, you've wrestled quite a few people that we've had on the Wrestle Talk podcast, and one of those was the Prince Leo D. What was it like to face Leo D?
Oh, it was a lot of fun getting in the ring with Leo. We know each other's game through and through. If you saw any of the promos that we cut before the match, we, just like Juno, like, we're always in there together training. So in that match, like, we just had, we scouted each other's moves. Every time somebody went for a move, we were able to reverse and get out of it. And then in the end, he caught me with that big cutter, and I like to say I kick out, but we never
got a chance to prove. I mean, yeah, dude, that killed me, man.
Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love to do it again with Leo. Every time we get stepped in the ring together, it's a joy.
Absolutely. And before you actually even started wrestling, you actually played sports. I believe it was basketball and football.
Yeah, basketball, football.
Can you tell us about playing basketball and football?
I played football for 4 years in high school. Started varsity my senior year. I played receiver for the first 3 years, and then my senior year got moved to safety. I had an okay season before I got hurt. It wasn't the best or anything, but it could have always been better. Basketball and track, I only did those for 1 year. I played basketball my freshman year. I was supposed to play my sophomore year, ended up getting concussion, and then opted out to focus on football.
Elbow?
Or
did you hit the floor?
I hit the floor. Yeah, we were playing a game called War where there's no fouls or anything.
Yeah, I know.
They called me out of there getting a rebound. And I ran track my senior year, and I pretty much did everything. I did 100, 200, 4x1, 4x2, 4x4, 800, long jump, high jump.
Bro, I'm getting winded just hearing him talk about this stuff. Somebody give me an oxygen tank.
Yeah, and I pretty much did everything. They wanted me to play baseball. I never got around to it, though.
Yeah. The only thing that I did was track and field, and I ran the 800 and the 1600. So, yeah. Good time. All right, well, I don't want to take up all of the time, so Renee, why don't you come in here with whatever questions that you have?
No doubt. So let's jump into something a little bit different here, Calvin. So you're not exclusive to KCXW. We talked about XWA a little bit, but you've also worked New Breed. Can you tell us a little bit maybe about your mindset walking into these locker rooms, maybe for the first and second time? Carry yourself a little bit different. What's your demeanor? And then when you're getting an opportunity like what you did at Awakening to, kind of work in front of the owner, what is it that you're looking to show? Because in a 10 or 15-minute match, it's hard for somebody to really get a full idea of what it is that you bring to the table. So what's your mindset, and what are some of the kind of the checklist type stuff that you have to make sure that they see you do both inside and outside the ring to make sure you make a great impression?
Yeah, every locker room's different, no matter what company you go to. But anytime I walk into a locker room, I walk in with the same mindset. Go in there, do my best, and show all those fans what I have to offer, and show them why I'm the realist. I go through, shake everybody's hand. I tend to be by myself sometimes, not because I don't want to talk to anybody, but just like that's how I get in the
get your head in the game.
Yeah,
right.
I usually sit around with my headphones, listen to music, just focus and get ready for my match. But it's not like I'm just ignoring anybody. Like when people talk to me, I'll go up to people, talk to them,
right,
all that stuff.
But you're there for work. I mean,
right.
Really, it's a job. So like, there's only so much, because you and sorry for interrupting. I do this a lot, so I'm sorry. When we worked together at GWF early last year, there was just, and I didn't know you at all at that point. I just knew that you carried yourself a certain way, and you and James together, and then also as individuals, you guys were very professional considering how young you guys are. Is that something you attribute to your training at the XWC and some of the people that you've been mentored by? Because from what I understand, just being kind of from an outsider's perspective, how you carry yourself is just as important inside the ring as it is outside.
Yeah, for sure. The Extreme Wrestling Center definitely helped with that professionalism. But I really give all that credit to my mom, of course, because the way she raised me. The realest mom.
The realest mom. She needs her own Twitter account.
Right. But yeah, she just the way she raised me, always be respectful no matter where you go. I'll try not to step on any toes because of that, and just make sure I treat everybody how I would want to be treated. So.
That is a very sound lesson. Now, with that said, obviously you had a wonderful upbringing. Your mother obviously taught you those lessons that we all learn when we're so young, as far as how to carry ourselves. But I do have to ask this question, and then we're not going to put this on Mama Realist. How the heck did you end up being a Philadelphia Eagles fan? You're not from Philly. Have you ever been to Philly? No. So please explain. Was it Donovan? Was it T.O.? Was it Deuce Staley? Come on, man. What are you talking about here?
So I was a Chiefs fan for a very long time growing up. Like, because that's all we watched was Chiefs fan.
It was Damon Hewer's fault, wasn't it?
I was a ride or die Chiefs fan.
Okay. Then what happened?
But my favorite player of all time was always Michael Vick.
And I can understand why.
So when Michael Vick came back from all this stuff that happened, and he signed with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Wow.
Because this happened in the midst of me sitting there and reevaluating football. Because I was like, okay,
the Chiefs sucked at the time. Jeez Louise.
I was like, let me go through. Let me not pick a team because this is the team that my mom goes for, or this is the hometown team. Let me actually go through, scout all these teams, and that's what I did. Like for like a solid 2 weeks, I went through every NFL team, looked at highlights, looked at rosters.
No bias.
No bias.
All right.
Every team, I was watching ESPN every day, and it popped up. It just so happened to be the last team I looked at was the Philadelphia Eagles, and the first thing I saw was Michael Vick.
Wow, dude.
And I said, Michael Vick.
That's my boy.
Let me check out this team real quick. So I went through there. I saw the roster. I was like the starting roster. And the first people I looked at was starting receiver, quarterback, lineman, and running back.
Okay.
And tight end. I saw LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, and Brent Taylor at the time. And just those three alone, I was sold. Because I went through and watched Deshaun and LaShawn's
and he's still killing it.
Yeah, I watched all of their college highlights, and I was like,
shady.
I was like, these guys are amazing. And then that year they should have went on to win the Super Bowl.
But right. Somebody had to throw up.
Things happen.
Yeah. Donovan threw up, and then Mike. Yeah. Anyway. But here's what's funny. So Nightmare Jones, my partner in crime, he's got two teams. He's got an AFC team and an NFC team like I do. I'm a Chiefs and Bears guy. Yeah. You're going to love this as a former Chiefs fan. So his AFC team is the Raiders.
Oh.
Boo. And his NFC team is the Washington Redskins.
The Washington the Redskins
The Redskins?
of all teams?
Jonesy, please step in and defend yourself here.
Don't make fun of my football team. I know that my team suck. It's okay. That's okay.
Okay. Well, listen, all I have to offer is this.
Got him.
Yes.
Got him.
It's always the worst when somebody has to admit that both of their football teams suck.
I mean, the Raiders are okay now, but
They are? Not as long as they're in.
Hey,
They're not as long as they're in the same division with Pat Mahomes,
True.
baby.
True.
I got a little man
That's-
crush.
that's-
Little man crush going in.
that's,
What'd you say, Jonesy?
that's nothing. There was a lady that I used to work with. Her two favorite teams were the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens.
What?
Yeah,
They're in the same division.
You can't do that.
yeah.
That's just cheating.
Is it because she liked the colors on their uniforms?
It had to be.
Come on, stop it. Jonesy?
Not lying.
All right, awesome. So let me transition into something else because I think the fans need to get to know you a little bit better. So let's start with something everyone can relate to. Calvin Aldridge's top 5 playlist right now. Like, I know you were bumping something on the way over to the studio. What is Calvin Aldridge listening to on his Spotify, iTunes, Napster? What are you listening to these days?
That's tough. As you heard, my intro theme, which is also my intro theme for a few different companies.
By the way, that dude can snap, kid.
Yes.
I never heard a Token before, but
Yeah.
that dude, wow.
Yeah, one of my favorite artists right now. Probably right now, that's the top song, Household Name by Token.
All right.
You
You heard the new Logic and
I was about to say
Joyner?
that, yeah.
Yeah, I know you and Leo shared that. That was
Yeah.
fresh. I like that.
Then we got ISIS by Logic and Joyner.
Right.
Then, of course, the GOAT, Eminem. We got Homicide by Logic and Eminem.
Woo! He.
Devil's Work by Joyner Lucas.
Okay. There's one
That's
left.
a good one.
Anything outside of hip hop music?
Oh, that's tough.
5 Finger Death Punch? Little Bob Marley? You know what I'm saying? What do you like? Maybe a little opera? Figaro, la la la. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's got that one song. Is this some like Boys to Men or I mean, what are you talking about here?
I think right now a song that's been stuck in my head, Cody Rhodes theme song.
The
what's
American Nightmare theme?
Yeah.
Very
that theme
nice.
song, yes.
I like that. Jonesy, I know that's one of your favorite songs, right, bro?
Yes, it is an awesome song. I like that song, and I like Chris Jericho's song that he comes out to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You talking about Judas?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, that is a great song.
good stuff.
That is a great song. All right, so we've got a couple of minutes left, so I'm going to keep kind of hitting you with a couple of different questions here. So we talked music. Let's talk video games.
Ooh.
Fortnite, Call of Duty, Red Dead Redemption, NBA 2K, Madden. A lot of different things out there, but I want to know how real the Realist keeps it. Give me your top 3 fighting games of all time, and it can include pro wrestling.
Oh Jesus.
You played the new Mortal Kombat yet?
No, I haven't, but
Ooh,
I
buddy.
want to.
Do not play that around kids. That's all I got to say.
Oh yeah, for sure. Top 3. Okay.
All time.
This is tough.
And you were born in
98.
Okay, so let's just make sure we skew that because a lot of people are going to come in here. What you mean he didn't pick Street Fighter 2?
Right.
This man was born in 98. So calm down, all you old heads out there.
Okay, so being a wrestler, I'm going to be biased. 2 of my top 3 are wrestling games.
Okay, fair.
But neither one of them are number 1. So number 3 will have to be SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain.
Okay, great choice. That's PlayStation 2?
Yes, PlayStation 2.
Okay, gotcha.
Number 2, people. I made a comment. I made a tweet about this not too long ago, or a Facebook status about.
You get some heat?
Yeah, I did.
I figured. I know what you're about to say. Go ahead.
SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. It is a very good game.
A very underrated
Very
game.
underrated. Such a good story mode, all that. GM mode was the best.
All right.
Now I'm gonna have 2 honorable mentions here because people are gonna get mad at me. Honorable mentions: WWF No Mercy. Amazing game.
Yes, a lot of people
Amazing
swear by that. I'm more of a WrestleMania 2000 guy myself, but hey, potato.
And I actually have 2 more honorable mentions.
Come on, really?
I'm sorry.
Come on, bro. You're picking
gotta
5 out of 3.
I gotta
Okay,
get these out here.
All right.
WWE 12 and SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. Those are my last 2 honorable mentions.
Okay, those are good. All right, so is there like a number 1 over everything?
My number 1 fighting game.
Because you said there wasn't a wrestling one at the top.
My number 1 fighting game that I will never, ever get tired of playing is Tekken 4. Yes.
Intern Timmy, can we get a round of applause, please? Intern Timmy, where you at? Do your dang job. Intern Timmy just be drinking all the coffee, eating all the donuts in the green room. Can I get a round of applause for Tekken 4, please? Intern Timmy, do your job.
It's such a good game.
It's so good.
I never get tired of playing it.
Oh my goodness. So who do you roll with? King?
No, I usually roll with How Wrong or I'll go Jin.
All right, Jin is dope. Okay. So yeah, King and Jin are my 2 guys. All right, so last question before we go into the shoot and shout segment on tonight's 249th episode of the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Wow, so close to 250.
It's crazy, bro. You know, we had Selena De Laurenta on recently.
did
you need to go back and listen to that one if you haven't. Anyway, my wife watches this show. I need to stop that. All right, so you heard as you were sitting in the green room, eating up all the green M&Ms. We talked about the Saudi Arabia show.
Yeah.
We talked about Moxley and, the U.S. title over at New Japan.
Very good match.
Right. Do you have an opinion on any of these things, Brock? But mainly Saudi, because you're a younger guy. I know the perspective is a little bit different. Can you separate yourself from the political aspect of what's happening and simply just take it for what it is as entertainment value? Do you let yourself get caught up in that? Do you think the Moxley thing is too premature? And are you satisfied with Brock showing up on a more regular basis? Or are you like my boy Jonesy and demands that he be in the ring every single Monday competing in a match? I know that's a lot, but I want to see if you can kind of sum it all up in one.
The Saudi show, me personally, I won't be watching, but I have a little bit different reason just because they have guys on their roster who don't condone what they did, and they have guys on the roster who aren't even allowed.
Daniel Bryan refuses to go.
And guys who aren't even allowed, like Sami Zayn. And the women aren't allowed, which I saw that they're trying to.
So is it because Sammy's Jewish or?
Yeah, because his Syrian ties.
Oh, he's Syrian, right? Yeah. Okay, true.
So yeah, that's why I won't be watching it, just because I feel like you should have more loyalty to your roster than the money. But that's just my lookout on it.
No, my understanding is that they are allowing women announcers, not wrestlers, is what I understand. But that could be 100% off. That's what I believe is the case. We'll have intern Timmy check on that.
I saw something that they were trying to get, I think, Alexa Bliss and Natalia out there or something like that. But the second point was John Moxley. I think it's perfect timing, honestly.
Okay.
Because he's fresh off a contract and he has the itch to do what he wants. I listened to the Jericho podcast.
Wow. Okay, I will admit that podcast is better than this one. and Jonesy, I know you get mad at me when I say stuff like that, but man, that was good. I guess the question is now, obviously, we're all happy for what he's doing right now. But do you believe that he's got the staying power that a guy like Cody Rhodes has?
Oh, of course.
Without question.
Without question.
Because that's our concern. We feel like the nostalgia will wear off eventually, and then, he'll be like Sean, like the Perfect 10. Big bang to start, and then just kind of.
I feel like Moxley, since he's wrestling a different style now, just watching that match with Juice Robinson, I could tell he wasn't doing all the stuff he was doing back in WWE.
He did do the Suicida.
Well, yeah.
He did do but everything else was different. And even the gear, he was in shorts.
Yeah, he was back in
I haven't seen him in shorts in
and then
7 years.
He kind of buried that his original finish. He had Juice Robinson kicked out of it and went through with the modified double arm DDT, which I really like. But yeah, I feel like he had he'll be a big name for a long time, just like he would have been had he stayed with.
Too soon on the title though. It took Juice 2 years to get that belt.
I don't think so, because it gives Juice more sympathy. He has to fight to get back to what his. He had to work so hard to get that opportunity.
He did.
He got it on his first match.
Right.
So that builds a good story for those two.
Okay.
And then to Brock Lesnar. Honestly, I've always been a Brock guy, even with with what he's doing recently, not being there all the time. Like, yeah, I wish he wouldn't have had the title while he was away for so long. But this is the most entertaining Brock Lesnar has been in a long time. The Brock Party, the Brock Party, great.
It is great.
Bank is a boombox. But yeah, I feel like he's been on Raw every week. I feel like with him being done with UFC.
I like how you said that,
because we don't know.
You never know exactly,
right? But I feel like he's gonna be around a little bit more often. Maybe not a lot still, but more often. And
anything is an improvement over what we've had.
Yeah, and Brock can be one of the most entertaining guys in the business, as we saw back in his first run with WWE. And I think it'll bring a lot of good to the company, especially if he'll bring a lot of odds to the Saudi show, because nobody knows who's he going to cash it on, and we won't know until Saudi if he even cashes in.
Exactly. And you know what, man? Regardless of how you feel, they sure as heck do a good job of making people want to watch it. Because I know there's probably a part of you you're like, maybe I'll just throw that thing on for a few minutes to see what they got going on over there.
I don't know. I would only maybe for Kofi Dolph, Randy, Triple H. That's a match I would like to see. But I mean, like, I'm just not too interested.
Okay, well, you brought it up, and I wanted an opportunity. Jonesy, I promise this will be my last question, and then we'll get into shoot and shout. So you said it. You brought up the name, and the name is Kofi Kingston.
Yes.
We saw the reaction of a lot of our brothers and sisters. You and me were fairly the same, complexion. Maybe you've been out in the sun a little bit longer than I have, but it's all the same. You know what I'm saying? We all kind of have a similar background. Yeah. Did that mean to you the same that it meant to guys like MVP? We saw the video. There were some guys like kind of tearing up a little bit. From an African American, let's just say what it is, from a black man in America's perspective, can you sum up? And I know this is a lot more than just a 30-second thing, if you in reality, but what did that mean to you? Because I know how I felt when Andy Reid knocked out Anthony Joshua this weekend. Right. I was like, yeah, boy, fat Mexican dudes, we're in, baby. We in there. I know how I felt. And listen, I'm American above anything else, but my blood is Mexican blood. Yeah. You get what I mean? So what did it mean to you, considering your background, your heritage, to see someone just like you reach the very pinnacle of the business?
It brings a lot of hope, because it shows that they are willing to listen to the fans. And when you have something as hot as Kofi Mania was at the time, like, you don't have a choice but to pull the trigger. And when the ref's hand hit the mat and counted to 3, like, it all just was a shock, and was like, it was just so real. I was almost in tears myself. Like, it just meant the world to me that like Kofi Kingston, somebody who I look up to, because I look up to all of New Day. Like, those guys are the people who actually made me want to pursue my dream of wrestling. And
them guys can do it. I can do it. Right. Speaking of which, our next hour guest has actually worked with the New Day. Yeah. Yes. You remember that? The old day?
Yes. I was actually there in attendance for that show.
Oh, my goodness.
And I had no idea it was there, because that was the year before wrestling.
Okay, so now that you know all 3 of those guys, you're like, ha. Right. That must have been freaking awesome. Yes. Well, thank you for sharing that. I know that's a very honest perspective. And I know we like to pretend in society today that we're all colorblind, but let's just be honest. There are still barriers for all colors and races, including white people. A lot of white people are getting discriminated these days just for being white guys. So it's kind of a tough thing. And what I love to do, and if you've ever watched a Wrestle Talk podcast before, we like to spread the love, man, because really it truly does not matter. Martin Luther King said it better than anybody else, man. It ain't about what you look like. It's about the content of your character. And up to this point, you've shown that you represent KCXW well. You represent yourself and your family extremely well. And, of course, you represent that beautiful Metropolitan Championship so well. And I cannot wait to see you get an opportunity to defend it. Very, very super duper last question. New Breed Wrestling. Are we going to be seeing more of the Realist Calvin Aldridge at New Breed Wrestling? I'm going to be down there on the 29th. Mm-hmm. I know Ricky Morton's going to be down there. A couple of former, Cruiserweight Classic guys are going to be in the mix. I know Kurt Gannon's down there doing his thing. Iceman and a few other guys. Yeah. Are you going to be there as well?
the Realist will be there June 29th.
You hear that? You hear that? When the Realist says, the Realist does. All right, that said, Jonesy, you know what time it is. We got a couple of minutes left in this segment, and we got to get into tonight's edition of the Shoot and Shout segment now. Realist, this is something you've never done before. It's a little bit of a therapeutic session. You may be a little bit too young for therapy, but you'll learn here. What we do is we give everybody, myself, Jonesy, and yourself included, 30 to 45 seconds to basically get it off your chest. If there's anything out there, wrestling related or not, that is bothering you, this is the place to do it. It's usually all in fun, and we always have a good laugh. Are you willing to join us?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's do it. Enter Timmy. You know what to do, baby. Cue the music. Let's get into tonight's edition of the Shoot and Shout segment.
It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify. If someone's head off, you don't keep in contact. And if you interact, your life is on contract. You that basic, stay away, mother. It's just one of those days.
Yo, keep that going in the background, baby. Let's go, Jonesy. Kick it off for us, man. What do you got?
Oh, you want me to start? Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
I can do that. All right. So what really chaps my ass is when my own co-host of the Wrestle Talk podcast goes on the podcast and says that Chris Jericho's podcast is better than the Wrestle Talk podcast. I think it's a bunch of
fucking bullshit.
Damn, he got me.
Fucking bullshit.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that might be your best shoot and shout ever. Okay, my bad. Bro, the Jon Moxley interview was insane. I had to go back and listen to it twice. Now, maybe when I go back and listen to the Calvin Aldridge interview, I will feel the same. I apologize, Jonesy. Chris Jericho is just an amazing entertainer, and I strive to be everything that he is, including a man with a full head of hair. But anyway, here's my shoot and shout for tonight. And my shoot and shout tonight is very personal because every single time I put my clothes in the wash, it shrinks. I don't know why. Look at this shirt. It used to fit. Look, dude, I used to use this shirt as a blanket. It's definitely not me. I'm not getting any bigger. I'm not getting any bigger. This shirt keeps shrinking on me. And I got these man boobs and I got this dude with a six-pack sitting next to me. You're making me look bad, man.
I'm sorry.
You know why I'm wearing glasses? Because I'm crying behind the glasses. Because I'm so listen, it ain't me. I'm good. It's just these shirts, they keep shrinking, and I'm tired of it. The damn washing machine. I mean, listen, I don't know what it is. I just need to figure out why these shirts keep shrinking because clearly they're making me look fat. And I'm tired of it. Dang it. So I'm going to go cry in the corner. Calvin, please close us out.
Mine is for wrestling fans. Stop crying about everything. Enjoy it. If you don't like the WWE, but all wrestling companies have their faults. Independent companies, stop trying to be the WWE. We are not the WWE. We don't need more Vince McMahons. We need new people. We need people to care about the wrestlers and work for them and make sure they're putting on the best quality content for their fans. You're not the WWE. Stop trying to be them. Be yourself.
That might be the realest shoot and shout we ever had, ladies and gentlemen. And don't act surprised. That's what happens when the Realist won. The KCXW Metropolitan Champion is in the house, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the conclusion of our first featured guest of the evening, Calvin Aldridge. Before you go, 2 bits of business. A, tell us where the fans can see you in action next. And number 2, how can they follow you on social media?
You can find the Realist this Saturday at KCXW Extreme Heat at the Air Restaurant Temple. You can find me June 29th with New Breed. And I believe I should be at XWE on July 13th and possibly July 6th. Not quite sure yet. But you can follow me on social media, Instagram, therealist.ca, realist with an I. You can find me on Twitter, the Realist_CA, and you can find me on Facebook at the Realist CA. I believe it's the Realist.ca also.
And you can also find him under the La Familia family tree as the newest member of the Wrestle Talk family. Calvin Aldridge, ladies and gentlemen, the champ, we do wish you a very, very speedy recovery. We also wish, man, that you continue to strive for your dreams and goals. I know we didn't get into it this time, but after you captured the championship, I personally made a post about you. We took a picture, and it personally hit home with me because I have seen so many of us attempt to get out from underneath some of the things that we've gone through in our childhood and during our teenage years. And a lot of our brothers and sisters never got the opportunity to do what you and I do. I've always wanted to be in broadcasting. You always want to do something in athletics. We both get the opportunity to live out the dream, and let's not take that for granted. And truly, even though I know you didn't capture that championship under the circumstances that you would have liked, you 100% earned it, like I said before, man, and I could not be any prouder of you. Keep after it. Be safe out on those roads, man, and keep doing the drives the way Uncle Bob says, all right?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, make some noise. Enter Timmy, you know what to do, baby. One more time, make some noise for the KCXW Metropolitan Champion, the Realist, Calvin Aldridge. Thank you very much for doing it, bro. We're going to go to break. Take us to break, Jonesy. He'll take care of the rest.
I don't know if you landed yet. You may have no service.
There it is.
Anyway, I miss you. I wanted to ask when you're coming home.
Can't go to my house, I wanna be a household name. Only relax when I'm back on the plane. But this is like a new mom. Daddy like a Tyler, I don't see him anyway. Household name. Baby, who am I to complain? Don't know who I am, but I still find a way. Little bit of fame, they can make me go insane, but I still want the host to bang, bang. I don't believe in love if it never go through pain. The color is only pretty if it really is insane. I measure how much it like me, how tight they pull my chain. So if I can't breathe, I'm doing the right thing. Daddy, give it all to you until I'm drained. I don't know what else I'm coming, but I gotta overcame. Funny, everyone around me doesn't know my real name, but they wanna make me a household name. Household name. Mommy just called, but I let that ring. Tell her I'm busy, I'm doing my thing. Losing myself and losing my way for the household name. What do you do? Where do you go? I don't know. Everywhere on the globe for the household name. What do you do? Where do you go? I don't know. Anywhere but for the household name. Household name. Mommy just called, but I let that ring. Tell her I'm busy, I'm doing my thing. Losing myself and losing my way for the household name. Where do you go? I don't know. Everywhere on the globe with a household name. What do you do? Where do you go? I don't know. Anywhere but with a household name. Motivated, prodigy. I'm motivated properly to grow and make a following. I cultivate the property. I'm overpaid, tigerly. I'm holding a monopoly. I'm float away. I brought up steam. I throw away the quality. I'm known to make a colony. The golden age of prophecy, but don't parade my modesty. It's overrated, honestly. They know my name, but not the meaning. Tokens, they anomaly. I don't relate to y'all. I mean, you owe me a apology. Got him. I'm the one who got him. Stop him. Playing possum, then he played the possum. Possum. Play the possum. He did with my penny alabaka. Got him. Put them in the coffin. Coffin. Got him. Spit at you like a llama. Assalamu alaikum. Then I him. Drop him in the water. Holla. Back to my squad. I'm back. This is what y'all don't have. Still on time, but I might not last. I know fans don't want to hear that. Lawyer said it's too good to pass. Cost $30,000 for him to say that. Back. They say I'm too heavy with the brag, but it ain't a brag if I don't think it's cool. Really, I think it's a problem.
Yo, what up? Night Out. Nightmare Jones. What up, Wrestle Talk fam? Do it for y'all. Check me out. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. Even them haters can't hate us no more. So unlock your door, cause we got some more. Every Wednesday we here, keeping it raw. Night Out, Nightmare Jones, and all the best guests. Like a double barrel pointed right at your chest. Wrestle Talk Podcast.com. Smashing and killing it like the night of the prom.
Woo! All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the FWWC segment of the Wrestle Talk Podcast with Joe and Renee. And this segment is brought to you by the greatest faction in the FWWC today, La Familia, that is ran by the greatest person in the FWWC today. That is your FWWC Universal Champion El Mata and hardcore champion.
Oh, Jonesy, you know what? I'm not even going to jump in here and entertain these shenanigans because clearly you have an agenda. But what I do want to do is I want to talk about what is going on with Red Brand and Blue Brand because, and I know the phone lines are going to start blowing up. Everybody from the FWWC is going to want their opportunity to come on and stake their claim. But right now, Jonesy, the Blue Brand has come out on top during round 4 of the FWWC brand battle. And I've got to ask you, how do you feel about that?
I mean, it's obvious that the Red Brand is going to come out the winner once again, like we did last time. So I mean, you know, it's obvious what's going to happen, and it's good to give the Blue Brand a little bit of hope because that just makes it even better when we get to watch all the hopes and dreams come crashing down by the hand of the greatest general manager, Marcus Mayhem, representing the greatest faction in the FWWC, La Familia, ran by
What do you want me to say, Jonesy? The fans are speaking and they're making their voices heard loud and clear.
But we never said that the fans were smart, did we?
Don't you insult the fans, Nightmare Jones. See, this is what happens every single time the FWWC segment starts. You turn into a flat-out jerk, and you know what? It's not about you, Nightmare Jones. It's not about me. It's about the loyal members of the FWWC, the competitors, and the fans. So why don't we go ahead and go and do what's best for business by bringing on our first caller tonight that's representing the FWWC, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Voorhees.
FWWC. It is the one, the only, Voorhees.
Jonesy, why don't you go ahead and take this one, man? I'm honestly, I'm a little intimidated by this guy.
How's it going, Voorhees? How are you tonight, sir?
I'm looking for my next victim.
Voorhees, can you please speak up? I'm sorry, Voorhees, can we have you speak up a little bit? We're having a hard time hearing you behind that mask.
I said I'm looking for my next victim to terrorize, to blow parts off of their body.
Huh. Your next victim. Well, you have plenty of victims in the FWWC Red Brand. You can go after Douglas James. You can go after Battle Cat. You can go after the Enchantress, Fallen. You know, there's so many people there that you can go after. Who do you want to go after?
Daniel Graham, the WC heavyweight champion.
So you
wait a minute. Did he just say Daniel Grimm was the FWWC heavyweight champion? Voorhees, I think you've been spending too much time at Crystal Lake. The FWWC heavyweight champion is on the Blue Brand. And his name is Corbin Slater. And as much as I hate to say it, he's a member of the hated La Familia World.
Yeah.
Yes, La Familia Worldwide. The Universal Champion is also a member of La Familia Worldwide, and his name is El Mataratas. Were you referring to the FWWC Warriors Heart Champion, Daniel Grimm?
Yes, or any champion I will go after, and I will not stop until a title is mine. But I do have some plans here coming up very soon, and it becomes of the tag team division as of right now.
But Voorhees, you don't have a tag team partner. There's no one crazy enough to team with you. How can you compete for the tag team championship if you don't even have a tag team partner?
Oh, but you're so wrong and mistaken. I do have a tag partner, and I won't say who, but just to let you know that when I do go for the tag team championship, that person will be by my side. Guaranteed.
Whoa.
Awesome.
Whoa. Well, you know what, Jonesy, do you have any questions remaining for Voorhees before we allow him to make his final statement and move on to another caller?
You know what? No, I'm good.
I will say this.
With that,
in a future bout, I will challenge any champion from either brand. So just to say to El Mataratas, Corbin Slater, or even Daniel Graham, Voorhees is coming for you, and you will be the next victim.
all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was
Never
Voorhees.
dime. Not a dime. Not a dime.
Wait,
I've already figured it.
insert Timmy's playing jokes. Oh my God! What did you figure out? What did you figure out, Nightmare?
I've already figured out who Voorhees' tag team partner is. It's obviously Battle Cat, and they're going to be called Dumb and Ugly.
Okay. Jeez Louise. Well, you know what? Laugh it up, Nightmare Jones, because Voorhees is a hell of a lot closer to becoming a champion than your ass is. I'll tell you that much. When was the last time you were even in a title match, Nightmare Jones? All you do is sit in the background and crack jokes. You couldn't take care of the Enchantress. Now you're over here making fun of everybody. I mean, who the hell do you think you are?
I don't care about being a champion. What makes you think I care about being a champion? I don't need a championship to prove myself. I've already done that. Been there.
So your job is what? To scare little kids? Scare little kids and troll people in the group all the time? Is that what your job is now, Nightmare Jones? Is that what you've been relegated to?
I am sitting back while my brothers in La Familia take over the FWWC with the Universal Champion, the Hardcore Champion, the World Heavyweight Champion. We own it all. La Familia owns everything.
Right. And you're the champion of what exactly, Nightmare Jones?
I'm the champion of Nightmare Jones. When I won a championship, I won a championship. I don't need a championship. I don't need a title.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's fine. That's fine. And you know what? I will say this, and this is something that is very, very important. I know we have a bunch of other callers from the FWWC looking to get on, but we do have our next featured interview coming up in just a few moments, actually in less than 5 minutes. the Missouri Wrestling Revival champion, will be joining us, ladies and gentlemen. And I know I'm very excited because this is a guy that I personally have a little bit of history with. So 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes, and we will have Hollis Giroux in the building. But my understanding is, Jonesy, that we do have some more callers on the line, and it would be inappropriate if we closed out the FWWC segment, which is the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide chapter. More information available to you guys over at WrestleTalkPodcast.com. The very last tab is the FWWC segment, and that will give you an opportunity to join the FWWC and become a superstar. And you can even walk away with a full-size customized championship. We're one of the very few eFeds, fantasy wrestling groups, that actually uses real championships. Contact myself, Nightmare Jones, Marcus Mayhem, Curtis Black for more information. And there's one other person that you can contact, and that is the one, the only, the Warriors Heart champion, Daniel Grimm. And we do have him on the line. We're going to get to Daniel Grimm for just a few moments, because my understanding is that he's a very quick message that he wants to deliver to the FWWC. We'll transition into Big Daddy P, which my understanding is we can't get the music right. We'll get there. It doesn't matter. Big Daddy P is going to join us because Snippets of Truth is going to happen no matter what. And then again, we will get to our second featured guest of the evening, the one, the only, the Missouri Wrestling Revival Missouri champion, Hollis Giroux. Enter, Timmy. Do me a favor and bring on the Warriors Heart champion, Daniel Grimm.
Daniel Grimm. I know.
Howdy ho.
You're going to have a response to Voorhees, right?
Well, I mean, what was his initial comment? Because to be honest, I wasn't listening.
He's coming for you. That's what he says.
Is that it? That's all he's been saying ever since, Universe Mania, ever since Money in the Bank, when he failed to capture the championship, and then, I got it back.
Well, let's just say he is persistent.
He is very persistent.
Kind of annoying.
Daniel Grimm, I will say this because I know how you are. You're an antagonist. You're somebody that likes to push people's buttons. Okay? And so all I'm going to say is this.
It worked.
Voorhees has had many an opponent, and nobody has been able to finish him off. Now, if anybody knows being persistent to the lengths of a cockroach, it is you. You have managed to capture the Warriors Heart Championship under some fairly questionable circumstances, but you did it. You're the longest reigning ever United States champion in the FWWC. Does someone that mirrors you so much like Voorhees not concern you?
Not that it's not concerning. It's just, how would I beat, someone like me? How would I defeat someone like Daniel Grimm?
Exactly.
That's all it meant. I can only beat myself. No one else so far has been able to take the championship and hold it against me.
That is all true. Do you want to give us any new information?
Well, with the things that are going on about the Warriors Heart Championship, people like Voorhees, I don't really know, because I got a lot of other concerns pertaining to the Warriors Heart Championship that in due time will come to light as to how everything happened.
Okay, well, Daniel Grimm, you're being a little coy. Don't really know where to go with it here. Jonesy, do you have anything for Daniel Grimm? Daniel Grimm, do you have a closing statement? Because I understand, as the top champion in the group, you don't want to give anything away. You're being attacked on all sides, probably even from within your own faction. Let's just be real, okay? Because you are the top champion in the group. But I mean, at the same time, the fans, the people want to know what they can expect next. So, Jonesy, do you have anything for Daniel Grimm?
Nope, I'm good.
Oh, wow. All right, Daniel Grimm, your final thoughts.
Well, my final thoughts. Let's see. It's been a hectic couple weeks. We know that the Warriors Heart Championship is a little top of the prestige. But come SummerSlam, for anybody that wants to dare get in my way, you got 2 months to why you should be champion.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your very coy and reserved Warriors Heart champion. You see, I'm only going to say this. Daniel Grimm is without a doubt one of the greatest Warriors Heart champions of all time. But if there's anything that you can say against him, is that it's hard to get him to a different level emotionally. He's very even keel, and kind of like a Sasuke for my enemy fans out there. You're not going to get him too high, too low, but at the same time, as much as that helps him, I think it hinders him, Jonesy, because where's the passion? Where's the anger? Where's the fire? You got everybody and their mama coming after you. That doesn't make you upset. You're not insulted that there's people out there that maybe don't deserve a shot that are getting a shot. You don't have an opinion on that? At the same time, I've never really been an active competitor, so I guess it's unfair for me to make statements like that. But what I will say is I would love to see just a little bit more passion out of our Warriors Heart champion. Because you know what? As far as what he does in the ring, it's unquestionable. Unquestionable that he's one of the greatest competitors we've ever seen here in the FWWC. That said, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to close out the FWWC segment. Again, guys, more information on that over at WrestleTalkPodcast.com. Just go to the last tab on the website. Find out more. If you've always had the dream of being a champion like the Realist Calvin Aldridge or like Hollis freaking Giroux, but you can't. Financially, physically, emotionally, you're limited. The FWC is a great alternative. Hit us up. We'll get you some more information, and you can join the ranks of the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion. That said, I believe it is time for Snippets of Truth. Jonesy, why don't you do us a favor and transition us over to our homie, our brother, our hermano in Christ, Big Daddy Pete.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we get one-on-one with God, and it has become one of my favorite segments of the FWWC, and we wouldn't be able to do this without the one and only Big Daddy P.
I gotta do what I gotta do. Look, so who the hell is you? You tell me how my soul is wrong, you don't know. Lay out and let the daddy go. If my reps about stealing, but it's about feeling. Sometimes you relive, but you know how I flow with the proper review. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Big Daddy P.
Now that's what I'm talking about. See, the theme song is so important because if people understand I got to do what I got to do, what that means, people don't realize there's a lot of things we have to do in this world. But the one thing that I always got to do, my brother, is to be there to represent the one who keeps me from struggling and stumbling every single day. How y'all doing tonight?
Good as gold, Big Daddy P.
Now, I did see a post about prayer requests, but I didn't see anyone. I believe somebody wasn't feeling good, but that was the most I saw.
Yeah, you know what? I actually have a prayer request. I believe Nightmare Jones has one. And for those that are a little confused, you're like, well, I'm listening to a pro wrestling podcast. What's this about? Listen, Big Daddy P is a well-respected promoter, manager, and general manager down in the southern states, especially TWA down in Tennessee. And obviously, Big Daddy P is also the chaplain of the FWC, which means that whether you want it or not, you guys that are on the roads every weekend, that are busting your ass to try to make your name in the professional wrestling business, like both of our guests that are going to be here tonight, what we like to do in good faith is say a little bit of prayer for you when you're out there doing your thing. And if there's anybody who has a prayer request, send it in. We want to send good vibes, good energy, much love in your direction. This is how we know how because of our personal beliefs. And so we're doing our best to spread that positivity, love, and inclusion to everybody in the pro wrestling community. So Big Daddy P, my prayer request is simple. Obviously, there's a lot of guys and girls out there who travel every single weekend. And recently, I can't pronounce his name, but he's a Japanese superstar. It was something that was brought up by our friends over at Harley Races, WLW, one of the Japanese superstars who has a lot of ties with them through New Japan, the wrestling promotion over in Japan, passed away over these last couple of days. So my prayer request is to him and his family. Obviously, God knows who that is, how to pronounce his name and all that. I just don't want to butcher the name. I feel like it's disrespectful. But shout out to the whole WLW family, Harley Race, Leland Race, the whole gang over there, Martin, everybody over there that always shows us love. Thank you guys so very much. And we send our condolences to you. And I petition you, Big Daddy P, to pray for this gentleman who is such an important part of New Japan and also World League Wrestling. Harley Race's World League Wrestling. Jonesy, what do you got?
Just pray for my dad. He's decided that he's going to start going to the senior center, and his health is starting to fail, and just lift him up a little bit.
Big Daddy P, you got it, baby. You know what to do.
That's it. Father God, we thank you so much for this time that you and you alone have made possible that we could come to you. You tell us, come to me all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Father, we know that the rest that we're looking for is comfort. And as we just read tonight at church, you are the God of all comfort. So Father, right now, you know the needs of all of your people. You know the needs of all of those that are out there that are struggling at this moment, especially those that travel to and fro, especially those that just lost a member of our family. Father, you know the wrestling community is such a family. We know that you have ordained not only wrestling, but you've also ordained this show that gives us the ability to pray for those that are in need. And we just thank you so much, Father. I pray for Jonesy's dad that you will continue to strengthen him, that you would also bring comfort to the family during this time. Father, we know that there are many that were supposed to go out this weekend to do some work, but are not able to. I pray that you continue to heal their body. And Father, most importantly, I pray for those right now that don't know you, that those who are feeling alone. And I just ask right now, Father, that you would honor your word as you always do, that you would allow the good news of what the work that you've done, that by faith alone we can receive. It says it is written that by believing that Jesus is the Christ, the Messiah, the Savior, that we would have eternal. So right now, Father, if there's anybody without hope, without eternal life, that they would know that all they have to do is to believe. It's a thought. It's not a word. It's not a work at all. For salvation is a gift, something that you cannot work for. And that by simply believing that the work that he did on the cross over 2,000 years ago is good enough for you to have right where you are, eternal life. Father, I pray that someone will commit themselves to you today, that they will trust you today. And we just thank you so much, and we love you, and we ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen and amen. And let me throw this little bit of salsa onto the taco. My man, the young gunner, the young stunner, the realist Calvin Aldridge that joined us a little bit earlier on. You guys heard he was going to make his title defense this Saturday. Big Daddy P at KCXW going for the Rana at practice last night. Boom, twisted the shoulder, came out of place. They try to pull a Mel Gibson, put it back into place. They did, but he still got some healing to do. So I forgot to mention that, but speedy recovery and many blessings to our homie, the realist Calvin Aldridge of KCXW. And hopefully we'll see him back in defending that championship very, very soon. Big Daddy P, we love you, man. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
Yes, just finalized a deal for June 23rd in Woodbury, Tennessee. It's going to be called Woodbury Slam. Bill Dundee going up against the WWE Hall of Famer at Ricky Morton. And I've got a triple threat match coming up there at this event. We're going to have a battle royal. We're also going to have a 30-minute Iron Man match. So when you guys get a chance, show some love to Blue Sky Wrestling on Facebook. I'm just putting all the information together now. I just finally got confirmation on the ring. So not only is general manager something that God has put in my path, but also some booking. And I was able to spend some time with the Superstar Dundee and talk about a man of heart, man. By the way, if you ever want Dundee on the show, you let me know. He loves wrestling.
What are you talking about, Big Daddy P? He was our guest exactly 1 month ago. You sleeping under a rock? What's wrong with you, Big Daddy P? I'm about to come down to Tennessee and fight you right now.
You had Bobby Eaton on. I knew that, but I didn't realize you had Dundee. He's the most passionate. Dude, the younger guys won't listen to him.
One question.
That he's some old guy they don't realize.
Perry, one question is all I got out. One question, and the man just went. He's like Brutal Bob. He's like a guy like that. You ask him one thing, and he's just, the knowledge is just pouring out of this man. And all you want to do is just sit there with your popcorn like Big E, like, taking it all in. So anyway, much love, Blue Sky Wrestling. Big Daddy P, send that to me so we can share it via the Wrestle Talk platform, man. And as always, bro, we love you. God bless you. And we will see you next week for Snippets of Truth.
Yes, you will. Thank you, guys. I love you. And remember, if anybody needs any prayer, hit me up, Big Daddy P at Facebook or Perry Hartman. Love you guys.
Perry Hartman, grace and peace, brother. Adios.
See ya. Peace.
Peace. And Big Daddy P is gone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that you've all been waiting for. Let me warn you, if you're listening to us via the Blog Talk link, you need to dial this number, 657-383-1521. We are not going to go 1 second short of 30 minutes with Hollis Giroux. We got so much stuff we need to talk about, and we're obviously running late. We went late with the FWWC. Hollis Giroux, he must have misplaced his sunglasses. I don't know what the hell happened. He was running a little bit late, and then we were running late with Big Daddy P. But it's all right, because we're going to give you your 30 minutes of Hollis Giroux, because we've been waiting to have this man on from the moment he captured one of the most prestigious championships in the Midwest. Ladies and gentlemen, the MWR Missouri Championship now resides in Kansas City because of Hollis Giroux. So enter Timmy. Go ahead and cue up that music for the only ever two-time KCXW champion and newly crowned MWR Missouri champion, the one, the only, Hollis Giroux! You better let that music play, intern Timmy. It's going to be one hell of an intro. Hey, let it play, baby. Let Eddie come in. Hey. Hey, these babies. Hey, these babies.
Yep.
Hey, these babies. Hey. We just do this the whole interview segment. I'm good with it. We just dance the whole time. I'm good with it, bro. I ain't tripping about that.
Maybe 5 minutes. Give them 5 minutes.
5 minutes. That sounds like 7 minutes long. Yeah. I know, bro. It's a movie.
Oh, man.
And my boy Jonesy, he loves the 80s stuff, bro. He's an OG. Cheers. Hey, where'd you get that mug? Wait a minute. Did Hollis Giroux just walk in here with a Wrestle Talk podcast mug? I didn't sanction any free mugs. How the hell did he?
And drinking out of it, too.
How did you do that?
It's magic, man.
It's
magic.
It must be one of the many perks of being the double champ. Ladies and gentlemen, Hollis Giroux. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, no, wait a minute. So, and Jonesy, I know you can't see this. My folks on the YouTube, you're very, very blessed. So, talk just real quick. This is going to be totally off the hinge here. But what is that?
That
talk to me.
Balls. Stop pointing at my balls, bro.
I'm not. It's
you're pointing at my balls, man.
Yeah. Okay. What do you got? What is that? This is not that kind of show, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay. What do you got?
So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the CCW Pure Open Weight Championship. I won this in about January. I beat Billy Hills for it. It's a tough guy.
The farmer.
The farmer, yes.
You know, he is like the beloved.
The beloved.
They love him over there, bro.
Stole it from him. That's why I call it Persephone.
So the open weight championship. So just educate us a little bit. How does the open weight championship work? Is it like equivalent with the heavyweight? Is it just like the notch down from it? Just for those who are not familiar with Cape Championship Wrestling, which, by the way, Cape is doing stuff that promotions in much bigger cities are not doing. All due respect to everybody, okay?
Yes.
But Cape is Matt Hardy. I mean, I don't even want to go down the list because it's crazy. But how did you even get down there, and how did you get your hands on that?
Well, it all started, me getting down the Cape in general, it really all started with they needed a guy. And it was just as simple as that. They needed a guy, and I answered the call. And the rest is history. As far as this championship goes, this belt is the notch down underneath the heavyweight championship.
Okay. Currently held by
Jackson Crowley.
Yes, Jackson.
Yeah. It's a good dude. Good dude. I want my belt back, Jackson. Anyway.
Well, a lot of big names have held that belt, and I know you're gonna do whatever you can to bring that prestige to the open weight championship. But I mean, we're talking about the likes of Hollis. We're talking about the likes of Brian or Brandon Barbwire. We're talking about Dirty Jake Durden. You know what I mean? Guys that are big time players in the game.
But before you didn't mention the biggest name of them all.
Well, I mean,
all that group you did not even mention.
I'm
looking for my cigar here, folks. Hang on a second.
Well, it's internet radio, so I mean, like, you know, I didn't do anything.
No.
I mean, you're the one that walked in here with one of our mugs. No, get it out of there.
Well, it's not in there.
You forgot it?
I didn't forget it. It's probably in the car. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
The biggest name who has held that championship, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest guy of them all, Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt is a former CCW champion. And if you don't know who Marco Stunt is,
no, I know who Marco Stunt is. You know who Marco Stunt is, don't you? We know who Marco Stunt is.
You know who Marco Stunt is?
It's the little tiny Carrot Top that wrestles.
Why do you have to say all
that? He's little. He looks like Carrot Top, and he wrestles.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's a fun, lovable guy. How could you not?
I know he's amazing.
Even when I'm in there whipping him.
Whipping?
Yeah, whipping his ass. When I'm whipping him in the ring, you can't help but to love this guy.
I know.
He slapped me in the face once. I'm like,
he's got a brother too. He's got a brother. That's what's crazy.
He's got a brother, which I'm facing. What is it? The 22nd?
Yes.
22nd of June. Yes, it's Farmer Billy Hills and Logan Stunt versus myself and another man who has held the CCW championship, the best of the best, Austin Lane.
Oh my goodness! This is a tag match.
I didn't say the whole thing because we only have 30 minutes. Austin, please forgive me.
I know. Well, yeah, because we could have gone for about 28 minutes just saying his name.
For sure.
Yeah. So, question, like, and I know Jonesy's eager. He's out in West Virginia. He's eager to get in here with the champ.
Jonesy.
But Hollis, how do you get yourself? And this may be something that you want to skirt around. That's fine. But you already know how Wrestle Talk rolls. So, like, how do you go from getting booked at CCW the first time to getting yourself in the title picture to putting yourself in a position to capture the championship? So, like, we asked Calvin Aldridge this, and I know he's been in the game less time than you. So he gave us a little bit of his perspective, but he's still young. And he's doing great. And I know you're a fan of his, and I know he's a huge fan of yours. He gave you a lot of credit for some of his training and stuff. So shout out to the Realist. But taking it down the road, maybe a little bit further as a more experienced vet, what is it that you do that allows you to get into that position? Because I know some of it is your ability, but it's not all ability. Some of it is the way you handle yourself outside the ring, the professionalism, the mannerisms, the promo ability. What is that? What is that factor that allows you to be able to go into multiple different promotions and with a very short period of time, like be a notable guy?
Well, first it's trade secret. I can't give you that. That's stuff.
I thought you were going to say it was good looks. I'm glad you didn't go.
Well, yeah,
with
that too. Well, yeah, that too. But I'm not a condescending ass.
All right.
I'm not a conceited bastard. I will say this.
Anymore.
Yeah. Still. Still. Heal for life.
All right.
Anyway, one of the biggest things is as far as going into places and ascending their ladders is really, at least it's been for me, is just being a stand-up guy, making your bookings,
answering your messenger messages.
Very much so. Even though I'm very late at that myself. But
better than most.
Going in to just any promotion, you really just have to be a stand-up guy. You have to for me, it's knowing your place. In Cape, I started out at the bottom rung. Like I was literally ground level.
This man was wrestling before the pre-show.
No, I was on the main show. We don't have pre-show.
I'm just trying to accentuate the fact that you started at the bottom.
Let's be honest here.
Okay.
Yes, I was ground level.
Now I'm sounding like Rob Pelinka, and I'm making up stories about Joker and Kobe Bryant that didn't even happen. But anyway, go ahead.
I appreciate your embellishment there, but no, let's be real.
All right.
Like that's a lot of why I get my bookings because I'm just genuinely honest.
All right.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat a whole bunch of stuff. Too much. And
extra salsa to the tacos not necessary.
No.
Okay.
No, just a smidgen to give it the taste.
All right. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. But you go in any promotion that I go, I know that there's longer tenured guys there over me, and I'm not going to do anything to outshine them. They have to get theirs first before me. And that was one of the first lessons I learned in my training at XWC. Just the way we have our graduations at a certain point in time is you can't be a graduate before someone else. That was at one point in time. Now it's criteria has changed. But you go in, you start bottom rung. You check your ego. This is most important. Anyone out there listening, you go into a promotion, you check your freaking ego.
That goes with anything, though, right? Any job, any house you go
Yeah.
into, you got to respect what they have going on there before you start staking claim and saying, I'm going to do this or that. I mean, like maybe on camera, that's what they want you to do. But in reality, you got to be, humble Harry from the moment you walk in, right?
Exactly. I mean, you can go in knowing, hey, I'm top shit, but excuse my French, I don't know if this is
this is internet radio, bro. I mean,
radar, or whatever.
It's all good. Be you.
Okay, well then.
I don't give a shit. That's
then, for the next 30 minutes, I guarantee you will probably hear the word fucking at least 10 times.
There you go. Hey, there's one towards meeting the quota.
Right. So you go in any promotion, know your fucking place, check your fucking ego at the door. Like rule number one. I mean, at least
have you ever seen stuff like that go sideways? You don't need to mention any names. It's not about embarrassing anybody, but have you seen somebody walk in maybe thinking that they deserve something that they didn't, and then it just it totally didn't work out for them or anything along those lines?
Fortunately, I have been blessed in between KCXW and CCW to not have seen that. And any other promotion that I've worked in between those, I haven't seen, no one coming in. I'm coming in here.
And you've been on some big shows.
I'm,
like
top,
some big
I'm
shows,
top
right?
dog. Like I should be challenging for the fucking championship. I really have not ever seen that. So I mean,
it's great to hear.
But kudos to a lot of guys, which is something that I saw earlier, reading your podcast stuff. There's a good line between, you said, you cover anything from the pros to the indies and anywhere in between. I'd like to think that in this business at this level, we're all pros.
I agree, because it's called professional wrestling.
Exactly.
Right. You got to be a pro.
And you can't, no matter how many zeros you put behind that 5, you can't be, you have to maintain professionalism. Like if it were me, and I'm kind of, what do you call it? Anyway, I forgot the big word. It was one too many beers already.
Already.
Nice. But anyway, if that were the case, there's someone at that elite level for a company somewhere on the East Coast is way less professional than I am. minus all the cuss words.
All right, so let me jump in and say this.
Any names,
bro. So I work in the corporate. You might want to refill that while I talk here, because. So I work in the what? Oh my goodness! Did he just let me hold it? The open weight, the seat. Oh my gosh!
That's the most dangerous championship.
I know. I'm waiting for somebody to come through the door and like hammer me or something.
It's not 24/7, bro.
Okay, thank goodness. Wrong belt. My bad. So I work in the business world, and I will say this, Hollis. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes, coming from humble beginnings. I'll take that. The empty. I'll take the empty.
Perfect. That's no flaws.
Very nice. I'll take that. I got a place for it. All right. So anyway, I've noticed that the higher up you go in the business world, the more unprofessional people are, and that really does speak to the point that you're making. Like, there's a certain sense of humility that you want to walk around with, no matter what. Like, I'll give you an example. So last week we had the Ring of Honor World Television Champion Shane Taylor, and it was like talking to you, like just a regular old dude. Like, he could have totally big timed us and shit like that.
Really?
You know, he could have been like, and you know what his character is, so he didn't have to do what he did. But he was one of the most humble guys ever.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man.
What?
There's so much on the indies. It is hard, so very hard to keep up with. Like, a lot of my crew, we call the car. They keep.
We're gonna talk about that.
They keep me hip.
Yeah, put that over there. That's your spot over there.
My spot? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right on
yeah, they keep me hip to a lot of the indie stuff. Like, I've been listening to the Young Bucks theme music since what?
Bro, have you heard the Gorillas of Destiny?
Double or Nothing Weekend, no? Huh? No.
You haven't heard the Gorillas of Destiny theme music?
No.
Oh my goodness, bro. We'll have to play that sometime for you. Yeah.
That's fine. While we're smoking cigars. Like,
yeah, I know. Totally. We got to double check back for that cigar. Well, listen, I do want to throw it to my partner in crime out in West Virginia, Nightmare Jones, but I did have one more question before I throw it to him, and then he'll throw it back to me. So your journey has been different than most other people because you've been on the ground level of a promotion. I remember seeing you in action for the very first time a few years ago over at the Alamo, and then before that there was like Soccer Nation and some other things like that. So how does that change your perspective?
And let's not forget State Street.
Oh, State Street Project, yeah, bro. I must have lost 15 pounds just walking in that place, which is probably good for me. But anyway, no, I know, bro. It was bad. It was bad, but things have certainly changed. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, so you've not only been through the ups and downs of being a successful professional wrestler, but you've also been in the ups and downs of a promotion, like getting started. So how does that like change your perspective? And I know you work a lot of different places. So like, does that give you how should I say, like, just a little bit of solitude when you say, hey, you know what, these guys are just getting started, I'm not mad at them? Because there's a lot of guys that turn their nose up at certain promotions because they're new, or they're maybe not as seasoned as everybody else is. Just because you've been there when a promotion is actually starting up and you know what that struggle is like, does that give you a little bit of a different perspective than maybe most people who are just focused on being a wrestler all the time?
Only in the business aspect of it, because when you hear people like that, it's only going to hurt you. Not to throw out any names or anything, but it's only going to hurt you. Like, Kansas City is such a huge city, and going back to its roots, it was a very, very, very polished area for professional wrestling. Like, I was going to tell you, like, there are still people, like old school guys, I'm not going to throw out any names, who can still go to the casino and just chill, and they still have fans. But it was such a very polished area for professional wrestling, and it's just a shame that it's, going down the road.
It's down to 2. It's down to 2.
Yeah, it's down to 2. But like, just going into a promotion, and especially at the ground level, I'm 4 years in, guys. Like, I don't consider myself a veteran. I'm only just speaking from my own personal experience.
Right.
But all I can say is if you see or if you hear of the talent itself, because you hear of like other people on the other end of wrestling promotions. And then you have, the guys themselves who go out every night, put themselves on the line. And, those guys I'm cool with, across the board, And it's really just the other guys who are, well, you're here, so I can't have you over here because you're over there. And again, it's hurting us as performers, because you never know what you're going to get. You know, it's the whole Forrest Gump box chocolate.
Well, of course.
You know,
I'm of that age. I know.
Right. You're that old, huh?
Yeah. 84, baby.
But yeah, like, it's only going to hurt us. And I honestly think we should all just pull together and make, you know, professional wrestling what it should be. And that's just this fucking phenomenon that people just can't take their eyes off of.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And we're all shooting for that. Jonesy, I'm coming to you next. So I guess I have to ask that question because we are talking Kansas City wrestling. So was there a part of you, like with most fans, even though you are, I guess, when it comes to Kansas City, a KCXW guy, was there a part of you that felt the blow that we all did when NWL folded? Because that was like our Ring of Honor. Like, it was like that one gleam of hope, of immediate hope, I should say, for us to kind of hit the big time, because there were people throughout the country that were taking notice of what was happening, just simply because of the production value. We don't all have millions of dollars to put into a promotion, but we all understand that, so there's no judgment. But what I'm saying is, like, did you feel that as a Kansas City guy when you were like, you know what, even though I'm not necessarily associated with, losing that is a bad thing for pro wrestling, not only in Kansas City, but in the Midwest? Because, you know, I'm 100% unbiased. You know me, I work and go everywhere, right? But I know, and it's unquestionable, that was not a good thing.
No, it really
whether
wasn't.
you like the guys in charge, the guys that wrestled there, how they handled their business, whether or not they were open to bringing other guys in or not, all that to the side, them being gone, probably not a good thing for wrestling in our area. How did somebody like you take that as, you know, actually being a worker?
Well, originally when NWL came in, I saw it as, again, just being the humble guy, I saw it as, if this company, again, I was just starting, maybe 2 years ago?
Right.
You know? So I was just 2 years in. I was still trying to get my foot in the door, just anywhere and everywhere. And when they were sucking up all the guys, you know, all the local talent,
they were
like the
here in St. Louis and everywhere.
You know, you got Maverick from Texas, you have Dirty Jake from St.
Draper,
Louis,
Colorado.
Dak Draper, you got Marty Bell, who was at TNA, like all those guys, you know, locally, the Regal twins, you know, when NWL comes in,
former XWC trainees,
the
twins, right,
I used to train with them. I F5 them both. Anyway, when you go during training, when you get a good promotion that comes in like that, you know, it brings, no matter if myself, KCXW, or any other one like any other promotion like Metro Pro, NWO comes in, it's beneficial to the city. Doesn't matter what promotion. It's
brings new eyeballs, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're bringing in new eyeballs, no matter who you are, to the city. Especially when you have as much flex as Major did,
lots of dough, baby.
Lots of dough. It's universally, no matter if it's KCXW or no matter if it's Metro Pro or NWL, you are bringing revenue into our city, and that's great for everyone. Now, where it hinders again, like I was saying before, is the inner workings of the promotion.
Some of the politics. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah,
the politics of business,
the
right?
Politicking, yes.
Yeah.
It's just, that's
but you guys are hearing it here, because I think there's a perception that everybody outside the NWO was like, yay, NWO fell. I was like, no, bro, that is not good, bro. No, NWO was the best thing that ever happened to Wrestle Talk, because people are like, all right, what's going on in Kansas City? And they're like, oh, where do we find out what's going on in Kansas City? Wrestle Talk. That's where you find out about it. You know what I mean? Well, Jonesy, I know you got some questions of your own, and I want to make sure you have enough time to jump on in here. Nightmare, you are on with the MWR Missouri champion and the CCW openweight champion, Hollis Giroux. Pure openweight champion, Hollis Giroux. What do you got on your mind, man?
Well, you know, first of all, I would like to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on to the show tonight, sir. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, you actually started training at the Extreme Wrestling Center. Can you tell us about training there at the Extreme Wrestling Center?
You want me to talk about the training at the Extreme Wrestling Center?
Yeah, your trainers, your experience.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, in my time at the Extreme Wrestling Center, we had Kyle King, Darian Sanders, Deacon and Enigma, and local hardcore legend Tommy Snow. By the way, his days sucked.
Get well soon.
Get well soon, Tommy.
Tommy.
I fucking love you to the moon and
He's
back,
a good
man.
guy.
He really is, and he's got stories about me.
I went to his retirement thing.
I wish I could have.
No, it was so good, man. There was
I think I had cake that day.
It was crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, so just really doing a lot of that training. That was the most beneficial because every single day there was a different trainer. And in my beginnings, it was always Tommy Snow. So it was lots of cardio.
You learned how to take a bump.
You learned how, yeah, you really did. You learned how to take a bump with Tommy Snow. And then everything else was just, with Deacon and Enigma, it was all, prepping you for your match, learning the absolute basics, learning the, stuff like international and Memphis. And you get into the more detailed stuff with Darian Sanders, and then the best overall stuff with David Catton, and then you get Kyle King with the international experience. He comes in and he tells you what's going on in the wrestling world today. Like all of that is being missed right now, but that was what I had during my training, and I honestly say it was the best. Like everything that they said, I soaked in and made it into what you see as Hollis Giroux today. So training was gruesome.
They don't play up there.
Sucked.
They don't play up there.
It sucked most days, because most days I was like, especially after those snow days, I was like, fuck, man, I hate cardio. Like cardio ain't gonna whip my ass tonight. I need to hit the gym. Like I need to bench press like 225 pounds like 4 times just to get like ready for the next week. Like in the next week being like maybe 275. You never know. I'm stronger than that, but I'm just saying.
Jonesy, what else you got?
I do have a couple more questions now. Now here is it's kind of.
Let me digress a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Digress.
It sucks. It sucks as a trainee, but if you don't really love professional wrestling for what it is, it's going to suck at first. And essentially, once you start going and once you start, working around with different people, it'll only get better from there. And that's just been my career. It only gets better from day one. You just can't have such a negative mindset or, any stigmas that, will hinder your ability to succeed. Not that I'm any, form of successful.
Those 2 big old heavy championships speak to the contrary. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Okay.
But
thank you for the modesty.
They do, but it's
just success
steps.
personified.
Yes.
Right.
It's the steps. And and again, another lesson from professional wrestling is success is only what you make it. So I could have started day one and said, hey, I'm successful because I started pro wrestling training, but anyway, the training there from day one, if you've never done any kind of sport in your life, it blows ass. Like you will be blown up day one. You will hurt day 2 and 3 and 4 and 7. Like it initially sucks, but going in knowing that you have to go in, get your repetitions in, and after all that, everything will be okay. Everything will work out. Now back to what you were saying. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jonesy. That's the digression right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, as being a professional wrestler, and when somebody finds out that you are a professional wrestler, what is your response when you hear the one thing that everybody that's in the professional wrestling business or is a fan of wrestling business absolutely hates, and that isn't professional wrestling fake? What is your response?
I want to hear this one. I got to hear this one.
Really, I just love to chop the ever living piss out of them. Like front side.
Hey, pull up your shirt real quick.
Front side and back side. I mean, and I'm not just saying that like just as
your back chops are nasty.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I use it for so long.
I know.
But anyway, like my response to that is you'll never really know how fake it is until you actually get in there and actually do it. So it's one of those things where don't knock it till you try it. Like if you, again, like I said, you've never set foot in a wrestling ring, because professional wrestling is not like any other sport. You can train for football, you can train for basketball, tennis, golf, soccer. You can train for all that shit in doing extracurricular stuff. You cannot train yourself to take a bump. You take a bump on this piece of wood right here and ask me how you feel about that.
No.
Take a bump. Take a bump.
Hard pass.
Yes. Take a bump on concrete, because I'm slipping and falling.
I've seen you do it.
Slipping and falling, it happens. You can't train for that. And not only is it just that, but people say, oh, well, yeah, pro wrestling is fake. Very choreographed, I'll give you that. And especially nowadays, you take a bump on that shit and then think about what can you do next. Take your bump. And most people that'll come to a shock. Think about that pain that you're experiencing right there, and then think about the next spot you can go to, telling your story in your match. Like how can you make this bump beneficial throughout the rest of the match? That you may say fake. It's not by any means fake. I mean, people have literally died in the ring actively on camera.
Shout out and rest in peace to El Perro Aguayo Jr.
Exactly.
Yeah, in the ring.
In many before him in the ring, and you say that shit is fake. I think
the only people that say that, guys, are guys that have never done it.
Fucking hypocrites.
Never done it.
Exactly.
Never. You'll never hear someone who's done it say that. So that is the opinion of an ignorant person.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Again, don't knock it till you try it.
Exactly. What else you got, Jonesy?
Yeah. What's next, Bob?
My last question is, how does it feel to be the first ever two-time KCXW heavyweight champion?
That was
like
huge,
a fucking
baby.
Dream. Like a fucking dream.
I remember when the company didn't even have a belt.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Being a wrestling company without a belt and being the first
baby
ever
steps.
champion, yeah. It's all baby steps, man. Like you were saying. What you got there?
I got one for you.
Oh,
what's
happening?
This is Kansas City's own Space Camper IPA.
You know what? I did see this as I was picking up my Bud Light Orange, because I'm a puss and I don't like beer.
I know.
At all. I like to taste my stuff.
I got some apple.
And it's got to taste good.
I got some apple whiskey.
And it's got to taste good. But being a first-time champ, it was amazing. Honestly, I would love to be a first ever 3-time champ.
Dude, they're promoting the Dark Phoenix. Need I say more? And it's a Kansas City beer.
They better have a Wolverine cameo in there. I fucking swear.
Yeah, X-Men without Wolverine doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Especially
no,
Hugh Jackman. Like, I know he's like retiring now from the role, but he needs to be like, there needs to be someone good in that movie to cover for Hugh Jackman. Like, I was just recently watching this shit on Netflix called Slasher.
Yes.
And there's this dude named Jefferson Brown. And I Googled the dude. I said, damn, like, he will look like a
that'd be good Wolverine. Yeah.
Damn good Wolverine. Like,
yes.
How can it be him?
I can tell you this from the reviews that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine is not in the Dark Phoenix movie.
He is not in the Dark Phoenix movie. But remember, this was pre-Wolverine being a part of the X-Men, because Professor X is young, Magneto's young.
So did we forget about every other movie in between?
Yes,
shit?
Maybe a little bit.
All right, like Wolverine is old as fuck. He's like literally one of the oldest.
He never dies.
He just never dies.
No, he
except
never
for
does.
Logan.
I think Jonesy had a question in there somewhere.
Up,
Jonesy, what was the question
man.
again?
Sorry, dude. Tangents, man.
Tangents, yeah.
No, my last question was about him being the 2-time KCXW champion.
You answered it.
That was my last question.
Okay.
All right. Well, I got 2 questions, and then we'll close it out with tonight's edition of the Shoot and Shout segment, because my wife is home. I'm about to get my ass whooped for going late again on the show. Jonesy, it's always your fault.
Don't hurt him, please.
I know. My wife is going to beat my ass. Oh, my goodness. I'm so afraid. All right. So question number 1, and this is coming from a mystery fan of the Wrestle Talk podcast. And that mystery fan wants to know, who do you want to defend your MWR Missouri Championship against next?
Oh, you know,
And you can do it anywhere. Cape,
I could do it in Cape,
KCX,
St. Louis,
New Breed. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
I could do it anywhere. Well, let me tell you guys a little story.
Who's ready?
Here.
Who's ready?
Let me tell you guys a little story here. The match you really don't want to see, and it's the match that no promotion will ever book, is Hollis Giroux versus Leo D. No promoter ever wants to see that because they're afraid we're going to tear their fucking house down. So, with that being said, it's a
so
dream,
of all the people you could choose,
that's
and
a dream
listen,
match. That's a dream match.
Okay, so listen, and I want to be honest here. Make sure you use glass because, you know, sponsorships or whatever. I'm just saying Boulevard isn't like sponsoring us yet. Okay, so here's what I want to say. That is such a great beer. And don't worry about it, miss. I do it all the time. So of all the people that you could face, of all the people in Missouri that you could face, you choose Leo D. Now, I don't necessarily disagree.
Well, see,
but tell the people who have not seen Leo D and Hollis Giroux why Leo D is the person.
Leo D, well, I didn't say that it was Leo D.
I'm just saying, you mentioned him first.
I did mention him first.
Okay.
But I would, and I would love to face Leo D. But also along this list, this championship has such a rich heritage already. You have Brandon Espinosa, Baracus,
yes,
Ace Hawkins,
Ricky Cruz,
Jack Gamble, and the list goes on. I would love to wrestle those guys.
KLD, Danny Adams, Paco Gonzalez.
Really good. I've seen him.
Yeah, I know they're good, bro. They're all so good.
Guys. All St. Louis guys. I would love to work them all, but let me explain to you something about Leo D. Leo D, he is a very, very, very special talent. There is something very undeniable about this kid that, you know, he's asleep. He's like the guy who never really got it. And I'm not saying got it as far as like, you know, work rate wise. It's just the guy that promoters just seem to shit on. But the dude is very, very talented in the ring.
Get some big time spots right now.
Everything he does, he
turns to gold
with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you're right. It just turns to gold. Like,
I agree.
Like, he makes fucking pro wrestling looks really fucking easy. Fuck you, Leo, for making pro wrestling look easy. Because if I were to do anything that you do, I sink like a rock. But
the cutter, baby. That's all I gotta say.
And it's off the fucking
cleanest
top
cutter
rope.
in the game.
And it's off the top rope. I took it.
Cleanest cutter in the game.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, what makes Leo D so special is the fact that you can equate him to like your Randy Orton. Like, comparisons aside, he is legitimately, you can compare him
size, look
to Randy Orton.
Yeah.
It's just
got it all.
Yeah, he's just got it in my eyes. And you ask me why would I love to wrestle? It's literally because of that. Like, I'm a working man. Like, if you were to play, like, it's like if you get Randy Orton versus fucking Stone Cold. Like, I'll have to scratch and claw for the shit that I got. People say I'm good.
You're opening up a Pandora's box that you really don't want to open up right now.
I think I'm the drizzling shits personally. Like, everything I see that I do, like, fuck, I could have did that better.
I could have done that way better.
Yeah. Like, and then you get a motherfucker like Leo D who comes in, it's like, you know,
easy peasy, mac and cheesy.
Right. Like, so, Leo D, I want to wrestle you next, but fuck you for making
your
bitch for making shit look easy. So fuck you.
All right. So question number 2, and can I roast Leo D for a second? Is that okay?
Go ahead.
I mean, my name's kind of on the show, so I think it's fair. So Leo, we're gonna put you over, and we love you, but my dude, you got to do something about that back knee.
The back knee? The what?
You don't know what that is?
Dude, no.
All right, hold on. So for wait a minute. So wait a minute. Just
you because rated R shit, bro?
No.
Got him. Got him.
Damn.
The producers are telling me you're gonna have to Google that after the show.
Okay.
Leo D knows what I'm talking about. Last question before we get into the game show challenge. You gotta come and have a beer with us, Kyle. We love you. Question. It's a lot of pressure. I'm feeling it right now. It's building up. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got one question left. We're running out of time.
Okay. Well, shoot. I got all night, baby.
I got it. So you're moving in the direction that you always wanted to move with your career. You're getting an opportunity to work with people that you probably kind of dreamed of working on with, or if not, at least on the very same show. But you're only 4 years in.
Okay.
So if we're having a conversation 3 to 5 years from now, what are we talking about? You signing with ROH, WWE? Are you a local legend? Where do you see Hollis Giroux in 5 years?
It's a typical job question.
Yep. There it is.
Hilarious. We'll just have to see, man. Like life is a lot like karma. Is a fickle piece of shit. Like stuff just just happens. Like
a banana peel can change your whole life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you never really know. So right now I'm just keeping the dream alive, and I'm gonna steal it from you, Leo, because you stole it from Batista. Dream chaser.
Dream chaser, dude.
Like it's all about that grind. It's all about getting yourself out there. I'm taking wherever life fucking throws at me. Like typical. Like may sound like typical babyface shit, but I'm living my dream. I was a little bit old getting into it. I was just that awkward, introverted kid in high school, didn't know who to talk to, and nothing. Didn't know jack shit about indie wrestling. Up until, a buddy of mine turned me on the Metro Pro, and I said I would not ever do it because their production value was horrible. But that was that was what?
Yeah, but the game changed when
that was fucking 2003.
But the game changed when Derek Stone came out.
Doesn't matter.
The game
in 2003. In 2003, Metro didn't have the production value, so
that's true.
So I saw it as
Who did?
Like that was my first glimpse of anything on the indies. And I said, I'm gonna be completely honest. Like I said, fuck that. I will not work for that indie bullshit. Like that's what I said. But that was in 2003.
My.
Yeah, but see, now smartened up on the shit. Like
I'd love to have a match against Michael Strider. That'd be awesome.
Yes, I would love to have a match against Michael Strider or Jeremy Wyatt
or whoever,
or Mark Sterling or hell, even the Regal Twins in a 2-on-1 match.
Right.
Like it doesn't matter. Like I would love to have a match. Mike Seidel. I would love to have a match with those guys. Like that was 2003. I didn't know shit. All I knew, like, if it wasn't WWE, it wasn't pro wrestling to me.
Right.
And I'm being, like, shoot out.
That speaks to your maturity.
Yes, exactly. Now being in the business and I, knowing who I know and what I know, that shit is crucial and beneficial. I would love to have love to have matches with those guys.
Be awesome. So next time, wait a minute. So two things. Next time you come on, we're going to talk about you in the ring with the New Day.
Motherfucker, that was 2 years ago you had me on.
I know.
Is it going to be another 2 years?
I know.
Are you giving me the
No, we're not, because we need to do this at least every 4 to 6 months because we have, so much that we can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, I know that you and I have settled our beef because when I was a fan, and exclusively a fan. Now I do some things in wrestling, obviously.
Right.
Now we've kind of found a way to kind of coexist. But back in the day, we were competitors. So what I want to do is kind of spin back the hands of time and get an opportunity to actually go against the great Hollis Giroux in tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. My question is, are you interested in joining us in this friendly competition? Or are you a pump bitch?
Well, I know punk bitch, but I will have to decline your invitation.
What?
Wow, let's bring it.
Don't be a punk.
He got it.
I was like, damn
got
it.
him.
All right, one more time. I think we got that available.
Got him.
In the words of good old JR, turnabout is fair play.
Turnabout is fair play. Intern Timmy, you know what to do, baby. It's time to get into tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Hit the music.
I beat you last time. You know that, right?
What?
Yeah, I did.
I got to go back and check.
You ready to turn that Leave It to Beaver shit off?
He mad. Hey, that was, look, you remember I was talking about Kyle, you my nigga, bro. Bang bang. No, wait a minute. I got one for that. Hey, I know Jonesy, what we're laughing about, but trust me, for those that do, this is gonna make sense.
He'll give you the Iggy like
Hold on, here it comes. You ready? Bow, bow. Take
Hilarious.
that, sucker. Bow, bow. I'm going shaft on your bitch ass. Bow, bow. All right,
We need to get a
anyway.
little collage of Mick Foley doing that.
All right, we do need to get the bang bang. We
Bang
need to get
bang.
that bang bang. All right, you know what to do, Jonesy. Let's get into
He
the.
shot me down.
I know he did.
Yeah.
Bang bang.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Go
Jonesy.
ahead. Go ahead, man.
All right, welcome to this week's installment of the world famous Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Tonight's contest is scheduled for the best 2 out of 3 falls. All contestants are the Night Owl Renee Martinez and Hollis Giroux. And if you
MWR heavyweight champion.
No. You got to introduce this man properly, Jonesy. He's got 2 belts. I bet you don't remember which.
KCXW and the CCW.
He got it.
Anyways.
Okay.
Well, he said KCXW,
Yeah,
but I think he meant the Missouri joint.
Yep. MWR.
MWR. We just messing with you,
You know when I was
Jonesy.
talking.
What?
You know when I was fucking
Let me
talking.
see what? What'd you say? That's gold right there.
Dude, that looks like a stone.
The other one?
motherfucker,
Yeah, you
man.
do
Get
look
another
like you
one.
have Down
Right.
syndrome in that picture. Hold on.
Fuck you, ass.
All right, we over here taking selfies,
Go
bro.
ahead.
All right, go ahead,
go
Jonesy.
ahead.
You got it. It's all you. It's all you.
I'll ask you 3 questions about a particular professional wrestling topic. Whenever you think you know the answer to the question, just shout out your answer. The first person to win 2 falls will win tonight's game show challenge. And
Okay, I'll have to lay down a situation.
Wait, let him finish the rules.
I gotta lay down a
Oh
stipulation.
my goodness.
That if it's indie shit, you got me already.
All right, and I gotta lay a
So you
stipulation.
gotta do WWE stuff. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
All right. So
let's challenge me.
all right.
Go ahead.
But I'm gonna tell you something. Whenever they put these questions together, it's Nightmare Jones, our director, and our co-executive producer Luke Roberts. They always make questions that I don't know anything about. So like this is likely about something that you're familiar with. So like we had somebody from OVW on, or like Sammy Callahan and those guys.
Right.
So of course all the questions were about Ohio.
Okay.
Right. So like you're likely to win here. But if you lose,
that's unfair.
you a punk bitch.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Let's do this.
Ain't no punk bitch.
Ain't nobody punk bitch. Suck up.
In honor of our guest, tonight's Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge.
Time out.
is-
Time out. I have a bet that I want to place with Hollis Giroux because I was trying to think of the question and I just now remember. If you lose Hollis Giroux, you have to admit that Stone Cold Steve Austin is a far superior talent on the mic and in the ring than Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I'll never admit that.
Come on.
I'll take that to my fucking grave.
All right, Jonesy, we're ready. But as soon as he loses, he's going to have to do it. So it is what it is.
In honor of our guest, tonight's Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge category is titled Tacos. No, wait a minute, no. It's Triple Crown Champion. I
Wow.
will give you background information on 3 professional wrestlers who have Triple Crown Championships in a particular professional wrestling promotion.
Okay.
When you think you know who I'm talking about, just shout out your answer, and the first person to win 2 falls will win tonight's contest. So it's pretty simple. I'll give you a couple clues. You shout out your answers. The first person to get the answer right gets the point. We'll play the 3 points. Whoever wins the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Pretty simple. Are you gentlemen ready?
Ready.
You're going down, Jerome.
Suck on these bootios, bitch.
Suck it.
All right.
I'm Reeves. You're Joshua. Just so you know that.
Motherfucker,
I'm going down.
I was on Xavier, so I know all you sucking shit.
That's fine.
Okay.
What do you got, Jonesy?
Question number 1. This 2-time WWE Hall of Famer in 2006 and 2019.
Shawn Michaels.
Second Triple Crown champion. Nope, not Shawn Michaels.
Ric Flair.
Was the second Triple. Nope, not Ric Flair. He first won the WWE Tag Team Championships in 1987 with Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Bret Hart.
Then went on to win the Bret Hart is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No indie stuff.
Only-
We got you.
only took- only-
They're going to curtail the question.
Yeah, we roll
It's
around.
that Bud Light. It's
Yeah.
getting to him.
No, and this is second shit IPA.
It's Kansas City, so don't hate.
Still fucking gross.
So it's 1
Stick
to
your
9.
face.
Uh-huh.
Night Out has 1. Hollis Giroux has none. All right,
Okay.
question
All right, here we
number
go.
2.
All right.
This professional wrestler is the most recent WWE Triple Crown champion. He won the WWF/WWE Intercontinental and World Tag Team Championships in 2008.
The
It
Miz.
took him 11 years to win. Do what?
The Miz.
No. It took him 11 years to win.
Kofi Kingston.
Kofi Kingston. I started first.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Hollis Giroux got it first.
Barely.
Just
barely.
by a nut hair, yes.
By a nut hair.
Well, I say a cunt hair, but you know,
it just depends who's it is.
This is for all of the marbles. Okay. This professional wrestler became the second NXT Triple Crown champion, being recognized as holding the NXT North American.
Adam Cole.
In NXT. Adam Cole, baby, is correct.
Yeah!
Oh, you lucky motherfucker. I don't watch NXT.
Mick, what's wrong with you? That's the best promotion in the world right now.
I know, dude, but I want to say like,
Slipping on your Pippin, slacking on your Mackin.
Hey.
Get my music intern to me before I beat your ass.
I'm taking the Batista approach, bro.
It is
I'm going in silent.
Dream Chaser.
Dream Chaser. I'm going in silent.
Give me what I want.
I don't want to know jack shit about the business. I want to go in and I want to fucking work.
No matter what, got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
So next time, so this is 1 for 1 in the 2 out of 3 series. I beat you last time. You beat me this time. So the next time I come on, you better bring your shit. Bring your stuff.
You mean like today? Mm-hmm. Where you almost got swept to Hollis Giroux?
You didn't almost sweep me. I said Kofi Kingston first.
2 out of 3.
I said Kofi Kingston first. You only got lucky because I was hesitant on the Bret Hart comment. I was hesitant, bro. I wanted you to win. I wanted you to win. I really did. I really did. I pity you. I don't think you ever win these.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of episode 249 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. Me and this dude are about to go outside and have a match, finish off these beers. Ladies and gentlemen, it is always an honor and a pleasure to navigate the starship with my partner in crime, Nightmare Jones, representing the Mountaineer State. Shout out to all our folks out there, Maryland, Baltimore, New York City, Boston, all the wonderful listeners down in Florida, Texas, California, Kansas City, St. Louis, Chicago, and many, many other cities throughout this great nation, including, of course, Cape, Girardeau, Missouri, and the good folks over at CCW and KCXW. If you haven't already, get your stinking ass down to your local independent wrestling promotion, because that's where it all starts. It started like that for this man. It started like that for this man. And I know it started like that for my boy, Nightmare Jones. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Bootios all day, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you eat your vitamins and your pancakes. That's your boy, the Night Owl, signing off on behalf of the champ, the new champ, Hollis Giroux, the Realist, Calvin Aldridge, and of course, the one and only Nightmare Jones. Say goodnight to the people and hit them with something funky, baby, because we got to go finish this 6-pack before the wife starts yelling. Good evening.
All right.
And we'll see y'all next week. Grayson.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Woo!
Too sexy for my love. Too sexy for my love. Love's going to leave.
Like this. Y'all should be watching this show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's H. Giroux on social media. Extreme Heat this Saturday at the Ararat Shrine Temple. New Breed Wrestling on the 29th. And CCW coming up very, very soon on the 22nd. And you are going to be in a hell of a tag team match. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wrestle Talk podcast concludes. For those of you guys checking us out on the YouTube, you get a few extra seconds versus our Blog Talk listeners. Remember,
we're still live?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
It never ends, dude. It's crazy.
You didn't see the nipple thing.
No, they did. They did. Oh, let me remind everybody, please visit the WrestleTalkPodcast.com to get your personalized Wrestle Talk Podcast mug. Not only does it come with this incredible logo, we can also put your name on it. And if you don't want your name on it, that's fine. For 15
You can
bucks,
still
get
you can
that
steal it
version
like
of
I did.
That's right. You can steal it like Hollis Giroux. When you're the double champ, when you're the new champ, you get to do things that other people don't. But let me tell you guys something. We always appreciate you guys, and Hollis, we're grateful as always to welcome you back in as a member of the Wrestle Talk family, man. Thank you very
brother.
much.
Thank you. Again, guys, like he said earlier, visit your local indie wrestlers because you never know who's going to make it out of that. Like, you really never know. So,
yeah, you never do really ever know. And all I can tell you guys is that it started with a Saturday afternoon, and it's since then turned into the opportunity of a lifetime. I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to broadcast. I've always wanted the opportunity to interview top flight athletes, and I'm doing it. Why? Because I visited my local independent wrestling promotion. If you don't have anything to do this Saturday, get your ass out to the Temple Extreme Heat KCXW. We both will be in the.
There will be beer.
That's right.
Plenty of beer and liquor.
And the chicken strips are fire, bro.
I never eat
fire.
I never eat before show.
You're slacking.
I know.
I'm telling you. Catch y'all later. Peace.